Hello, everyone, and welcome. You are watching Eagle News America. I'm Michael Hudson, coming to you from the Emerald City in Seattle, Washington. Tonight, we have reports from several of our correspondents from across the USA. Ace Ramirez in Washington, D.C. shares with us reactions of several individuals to the I Can't Breathe message and the related protests rocking the nation today. I'm Millen Ramos, also in Washington, D.C.
Responses to Trump's improper visit to St. John's Chapel.
We have E.J. Gonzalez in Alexandria, Virginia.
Parents in Virginia throw a parade in lieu of a traditional graduation.
Aaron Aubin in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
COVID-19 positivity rate falls as state testing continues to expand.
We also have Joanne Soriano in New York, New York.
New York extends citywide curfew through Sunday.
Carlo Valdez joins us in Union Township, New Jersey.
The Governor and Attorney General of New Jersey announced new updates to initiatives advancing greater trust between police and communities, and face coverings and social distancing will help in restart of New Jersey economy.
Kathleen Gregorio joins us in Corpus Christi in the Lone Star State.
Texas governor updates state response to protest violence, calls for unity following George Floyd's death.
Mylene Cushio in North Hills, California.
Anti-racism protests spread across Southern California.
And we also have Macy Membrere in Sacramento. Reports about Governor Newsom's address regarding the protests in the state of California. Plus, we meet a wife, a son, and a daughter of a Philadelphia police officer. But first, an overview of how the world looks now. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 6,300,000. This includes more than 1,800,000 in the U.S. and more than 93,000 in Canada. Sadly, this virus has claimed more than 378,000 lives worldwide. This number includes more than 106,000 deaths in the U.S. and more than 7,000 in Canada. Our coverage begins now. I can't breathe, words that echo across the world in recent days. Some of George Floyd's last. Words that have sparked uprisings across the nation and other parts of the globe. Tonight, we will hear from several individuals their thoughts on systematic racism, police brutality, and protesting versus rioting. Our Washington, D.C. Bureau Chief, Ace Ramirez, has the story.
I can't breathe. These words, uttered by George Floyd while a police officer was kneeling on his neck, are causing the mayhem all over the U.S. Riots and protests from Minneapolis to L.A., from Vegas to D.C. In Washington, D.C., both public and private properties have been defaced and set ablaze. More than a dozen rioters have been arrested. A curfew has been imposed. Yet chaos still continues. We asked some individuals, from students to people of authority, their reactions to the ongoing situation happening across the nation.
A lot of media attention is shifting away from the purpose of protesting to focus on the violence of looting and rioting. I understand the anger many folks are feeling. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said in 1967, a riot is the language of the unheard. In every George Floyd, I see myself and I see my father. I fear for my life and my father's life, but rioting and looting is not the appropriate path to achieve what the community wants. Rioting and looting is disgusting and a coward's response to this growing issue.
Riots are not justified. Once you riot, the message gets lost and no one is willing to listen to your message if it is emphasized by violence.
A riot is a violent disturbance of the peace by a crowd. while a protest is a public expression of objection, disapproval, or dissent towards an idea or course of action. I believe that the riots are not justifiable because of the violence that stems from it. Protests can be peaceful and can take through many ways, such as individual statements and mass demonstrations.
I think that riots are justifiable to a certain extent. I don't think that they are justifiable when people use it to take advantage and steal things or to make other peaceful protesters look bad. I do, however, think it is justifiable to a certain extent when they simply try to convey the message that material things can be replaced but lives cannot.
On the riots are totally unnecessary. I know some people feel outraged and they want their feelings known, feel that people aren't listening to them. But to become destructive in nature and burn police stations and police cars and ruin the livelihoods of small business people is uncalled for. But you also are hurting other black families. So all those business owners are not white owners. They are Latino, they are Asian, and they are black businesses. And in this time we have of economic unrest due to COVID-19, it has caused the financial setback of even more families. So I disagree with the riots, and there's many other ways to have dialogue and get your point across to express your feelings. I do understand some of the people and why they are protesting, but the other half that are looting and rioting and just looking at it as an excuse to steal, I'm not with you, and I totally disagree with what you're doing.
In the case of George Floyd, the level of force was not commensurate with his level of resistance. Unfortunately, in this country, the police departments have a history of utilizing force that is not commensurate with the level of resistance.
The excessive force from a police officer was uncalled for. After doing some research, I discovered that the bystander videos, security camera footage, and dispatcher audios reveal that the police officers were struggling to get George Floyd into the police car. Ex-police officer Derek Chauvin could be seen pulling George Floyd from the back seat onto the street, face down. Then 3 police officers were applying pressure to his neck, torso, and legs. The police eventually radioed for EMS because of an injury, but despite their calls for medical help, the cries of George Floyd about not being able to breathe, Chauvin continued to pin him down for at least 7 more minutes. I believe that the actions of these officers were not called for, and that the situation could have been handled much better.
We see a video of a police officer pinning down his suspect after being handcuffed. According to the autopsy, the force that was applied on both Floyd's neck and back for almost 9 minutes cut off his airways and blood flow to his brain. This force is uncalled for.
It was uncalled for, and drawing on my experience as a former police officer, former defensive tactics instructor, that's that position that you saw him in, the police officer, is part of it's a technique to control the suspect. But the knee across the neck is not a part of the technique. It appeared to be on the videos. It was a non-combative subject. In particular, it was a handcuffed suspect. So I believe, and again, I haven't read the coroner's report, but I do believe that the death was primarily caused by positional asphyxiation. The gentleman, the deceased gentleman, was laying on his stomach. And there's been many in custody deaths over the years, and the root cause of that is positional asphyxiation. Yes, the officer has a right to apply pain to gain compliance, but it was a handcuffed prisoner who was compliant and merely was asking for help and wanted to get up, and they didn't let him. And the officers who witnessed the incident and aided the officer who was in control of the suspect, they're just as much at fault as the officer who was charged with murder.
I myself would personally join these protests, not only to show that my age and people my age can impact the world and change the world, but also because I aim to achieve a better educated and more respectful world where people have human decency toward each other, not only for generations after me, but for my current generation.
Rioting, no. Protesting peacefully, yes. Peaceful protests allow you and your group to get the message across to those who are sympathetic to your cause. And by them being sympathetic to your cause, it may implore them to contact their elected officials in order for them to further your agenda by means of passing legislation.
Personally, I wouldn't join these protests, but there are other ways to show support. For example, donating, signing petitions, and spreading awareness. I believe that an important thing for everyone to do right now is to educate ourselves and continue to show support for everyone in our community.
If I were to protest, I would protest peacefully for the purpose of communicating the necessity of training police officers better and for racial justice and equality. Additionally, police officers should be better educated on the disparities that are apparent between the African American community and the white community. During this time of tension, agitation, and confusion, I see that it is best not to protest, especially because the United States is still undergoing a pandemic that should continue to be actively monitored to prevent a second wave. However, I have found a new way to protest on my own, not only on this incident, but for racial injustice and economic disparities that are traced back to the last 400 years. That is to educate myself on social issues and immerse myself in my studies. Only when we are educated will we know how to respond in an efficient and proactive manner and contribute to this ongoing struggle in the United States.
Would I personally join a protest? No, because again, I believe they're counterproductive. And with COVID-19 virus running rampant throughout the country, the protesters or rioters or looters are putting themselves at risk even more, their families and everybody else involved, because there's no social distancing in a riot. So again, as a black man in America, I definitely feel the pain of the family. I feel the pain of all the families of the other black males that have been killed in police custody. But this particular situation did not have to happen. The rioting is counterproductive. There's always going to be a few bad apples, but let me say that out of all the men and women that I have served in various police departments, both been associated with both locally, state and federally, 90%, 99% of the men and women in the law enforcement community are doing their job, and they're doing it at a high level. And with the rioting, being a black American, rioting causes the rest of the world to look at us as to, why are they doing that? And I don't want that image to be played over and over around the world, because we can solve our problems through discussion, through dialogue, and trying to sit down and work together. There's nothing we can do to bring back a life, but I hope we can develop some positive things and have a positive impact as we move forward.
Imagine your child having a panic or asthma attack saying, "I can't breathe." Or your coworker complaining under a face mask saying, "I can't breathe." These are words that shouldn't be taken lightly, especially at a time of duress. To a medical professional, these words call for a quick assessment of the patient's condition. To a firefighter inside a burning building, these may mean life or death. To George Floyd, it cost the latter. The same effect for Washington, D.C. at the moment. The district can't breathe. From Gaithersburg, Maryland, Ace Ramirez, 1 with 25.
When we come back, COVID-19, more updates from our correspondents. Stay with us. This is Eagle News.
Kahit na maraming kababayan natin ang nasa loob lang ng kanilang tahanan, hindi naman ito naging hadlang upang ipamalas nila ang natatangi nilang galing.
Ano ang nangyari sa'yo?
Sa ating next episode, saksihan ang online audition ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Siyempre, dito lang yan sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa Pilipinas, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure Building a Better World. Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved Nutrichos, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutrichos. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Lunch and Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Food Standard Juicy, ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, CompuZell Computer Services, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
The successful development of TPLEX, or Tarlac-Pangasinan-La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario, La Union, with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan, La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutrichunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutrichunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News America. I'm Michael Hudson in Seattle, Washington. President Trump made an impromptu visit to St. John's Chapel in Washington, D.C. yesterday afternoon and has been criticized for it. Emilyn Ramos in Washington, D.C. has the story.
Thank you, Mike. Today is election day for primaries in Washington, D.C. Eligible voters were able to vote either through mail or in person. Today will also mark the 5th day of protests in Washington, D.C. for the killing of George Floyd. As I reported yesterday, during the protests in the surrounding areas around the White House, President Donald J. Trump walked from the White House across the street to the St. John's Church for what some were saying was for a photo op, and this caused much controversy. The scene was dramatic, with police and military clearing the crowds so that the president could safely walk through the chapel. It was reported by several news outlets that tear gas or military munitions were used to disperse the crowds. Some will have thought that the president walking to the St. John's Chapel with a Bible in his hand was very presidential, while others thought that the whole situation was less than presidential. Former Vice President and presumptive nominee Joe Biden also weighed in and accused President Donald Trump today in a speech in Philadelphia that Trump is turning the United States into a, quote, battlefield driving by old resentments and fresh fears. The 77-year-old former vice president condemned the use of force by police on Monday evening against demonstrators. Biden said, quote, when peaceful protesters are dispersed by the order of the president from the doorstep of the People's House, the White House, using tear gas and fresh grenades in order to stage a photo op at one of the most historic churches in the country, we can be forgiven for believing that the president is more interested in power than in principle. Now, Mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, stated this on her Twitter last night. Quote, I imposed a curfew at 7 p.m. A full 25 minutes before the curfew and without provocation, federal police used munitions on peaceful protesters in front of the White House. An act will make the job of the D.C. Police Department officers more difficult. Shameful. It's still too early to tell how the protest will play out. Whatever the case may be, President Trump vowed to order a military crackdown on once-in-a-generation protests gripping the United States, saying he was sending thousands of troops onto the streets of the Capitol and threatening to deploy soldiers to states unable to regain control. Let's listen to a speech by the president on Monday at the White House Garden.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them. I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
If you've seen the protests and demonstrations in person or on the news, you can see that the protesters are in close proximity and many are not wearing masks. The district reported that for Monday, June 1, there were only 29 new positive coronavirus cases and 2 COVID-19 related deaths. It's clearly a downward trend in terms of new cases and deaths. Let us hope that the demonstrations will not negatively impact the progress that Washington, D.C. has made in terms of fighting this pandemic. In Washington, D.C., I'm Malin Bondoc-Ramos, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Emelyn. I just had one quick question before you sign off. So, you know, that's the great news that the COVID-19 has a downward trend right now. But as far as the protesting goes, I mean, is it still at a high level right now? Has it died down a little bit? What's the climate there right now?
Based on the latest news, there were no official numbers on how many protesters there were, but it's estimated that there were hundreds, if not thousands of people who joined the protest. And the protests tonight, Mike, were relatively peaceful. No major incidents reported. there were still a lot of people who stayed past the 7 p.m. curfew, because in Washington, D.C., we have the 7 p.m. curfew. But the crowd were slowly dispersing around 8 p.m. There were still like the core groups that stayed till, I think, up to tonight. But relatively speaking, everything is peaceful so far. So I hope it remains the same, Mike.
Great. Well, hey, I hope you stay safe, Imelin. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mike.
This class of 2020 indeed is a special batch of graduates. In Virginia, parents of graduates are throwing a celebratory parade in lieu of the traditional ceremony. EJ Gonzalez in Alexandria has the report.
Thanks, Michael. Well, as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has brought many changes that we never could have expected. It affected the way we interact with each other, the way we work, and even put an abrupt end to many students' school year. This year, high school seniors were forced to end their final year short and didn't even have the opportunity to walk on the stage in front of their loved ones to receive their diploma. With COVID-19 restrictions in Alexandria, Virginia, parents then brainstormed a creative way to still have a celebration for their children. Graduates of Edison High School held a street parade where the graduates were driven down the street of their school while their loved ones cheered them on from the sidewalks. Those in attendance practiced the use of face coverings and kept social distancing in mind, while honking, noisemakers, and loud cheering filled the air as the graduates passed by. We were able to get a few words from one of the graduates, Jaden Ignacio, high school senior and star point guard of the Edison Eagles, along with his parents, to get their insight of the experience of this unique and memorable finish to the year. Take a look.
So with this school year, with what they call distance learning, since March 12th, they were out of school. That was the last day of school. With the class of 2020, they weren't going to have a regular graduation walk. And it was actually the parents, the PTA organization, that set up the whole parade. So they said, you know, when you come into the school, have your cars decorated, and the seniors will pick up their packet. And then for the evening time, instead of like the usual drive by the house kind of and honk your horn for the graduates are in the car. They have a designated driver. It's a parade about a mile long. They ask for friends and family to line the streets with signs and posters and noise making and things like that to cheer them on as the parade comes through. So it was really nice. And especially, it was also Jaden's birthday yesterday too, so it was extra special for him to get that kind of cheer from the crowd.
Jaden finished the year very strong academically, finished with a 3.93, so we're very proud of him in that regard. But most of all, Jaden was the star athlete at his school, the main point guard for his high school varsity team. And they went on to win the district championship this year, which was a huge achievement for them. Jaden scored the most three-pointers in a season for his school in history, so what an achievement. But to do that, it took a lot of work. It took a lot of discipline and dedication to his game, to his craft, a lot of training, and still being able to maintain a high grade point average with complex classes as well. So it was quite the achievement. It's a good way to finish off high school and really get ready for the next level.
I feel like most of the graduates, including myself, would prefer a parade over a regular graduation. Yeah. We felt more free. It was more lively, and it was just a lot of fun. So I recently committed to Mary Baldwin University here in Virginia, and I wanted to continue my academic as well as my athletic career there. I will be majoring in business management, and in the upcoming years, I really just see myself, seeking success in the classroom as well as on the court, and bettering myself and just learning a lot. Of course, I want to thank God for all the blessings given to me and my family, but most of all, I like to thank my parents, my family, my brother and sister. They've really been good role models for me, and I always looked up to them. Of course, their work ethic, not only in work or school, but also in church as well. So I'd like to thank them.
We would urge him to continue to keep his work ethic and discipline that he's exhibited this past year. We're hopeful that our love and our training with him at home, especially within our church, will help him in the future as well, that he'll be able to rely on those things, especially when he reaches forks in the road that he has to make really tough decisions. We're confident, though, that he's got a good head on his shoulders and will succeed in whatever he does.
Well, we'd like to congratulate Jaden for the success he received in his final school year, as well as all the seniors of Edison High School and all 2020 graduates around the world. We wish you endless success and the brightest future. In Alexandria, Virginia, EJ Gonzalez, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Michael.
Hey, quick question for you, EJ. So, looks like you graduated high school already, but if you were to build a time machine and go back in time, I mean, how would you feel about having a parade for a graduation ceremony?
Yeah, so when I attended the parade yesterday, I realized that it's been 10 years since I graduated high school. But yeah, I would have rather had a parade like the one they held yesterday. One of the biggest challenges I had when I was graduating was looking for my family in the crowd. Right, but if they were outside on the streets yelling and screaming, I know I definitely would not have missed them.
Yeah. And what kind of car are you going to be? Would you be driving in?
Well, I don't know if I could get Tesla like what Jaden was in, but anything that was pushing me down the road, I would have been definitely happy with.
Gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. All right, cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for the report. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Michael.
COVID-19 positivity rate falls as state testing continues to expand in Maryland. Aaron Aben in Gaithersburg, Maryland, has the details.
Thank you, Michael. The Maryland statistics concerning COVID-19 first appear to be disheartening. The number of confirmed cases rose by 14% to 54,175. The number of deaths increased by 12% to 2,474 just from last week. Although these numbers are increasing, the recent expansions in COVID-19 testing and the accompanying steady decline in positivity rate makes for encouraging news. Over the course of last month, COVID-19 testing in Maryland more than doubled. Governor Hogan's long-term testing strategy has resulted in multiple expansions to Maryland's testing capacity, and this is through increases in community testing sites and testing schedules. The state has made partnerships with companies such as CVS and Walmart in order to succeed in these efforts. As a result, testing now includes asymptomatic individuals, and testing is also available without an appointment and without cost at certain locations. Today, the governor announced the expansion of the testing site at Six Flags America in Prince George's County. The testing site currently has one of the highest testing volumes among community testing sites, having tested 1,686 people on Friday alone. Now, testing has been expanded to 2 days, Wednesday and Friday, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Note again that this is without cost and does not require a doctor's note nor the exhibition of symptoms. Further information on the locations and the schedules of testing can be found on the Maryland Department of Health's interactive map at coronavirus.maryland.gov. As COVID-19 testing expands past 5% of Maryland's total population, the state's data indicates that the rate of those tested positive for COVID-19 to everyone tested in total has dropped significantly, especially in areas of high COVID-19 occurrence, such as Montgomery, Prince George's, and Baltimore counties. These counties are considered key jurisdictions in monitoring the status of COVID-19 in Maryland due to the aforementioned high rates of occurrence. Statewide, the positivity rate has dropped by 60% from its peak in May to lower than 10.8% and continues to drop. With the state's increased testing capacity, Governor Hogan still encourages more Marylanders to be tested. Yesterday he tweeted, "With 100 testing sites across the state and growing private sector partnerships, we encourage Marylanders to get tested, even if you don't have symptoms or suspect that you've been exposed, so that we can continue our safe, gradual, and effective recovery efforts." From Gaithersburg, Maryland, Aaron Aben, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Michael.
Before you leave, Aaron, I had a quick question for you. So as far as the businesses go in your area, are they still on lockdown? Are they slowly reopening? Are they kind of loosening up the capacity a bit? Can you touch up on that?
So personally, in our county, in Montgomery County, we have the highest number of positive cases for COVID-19. And recently, even though statewide, Governor Hogan is making efforts to begin easing restrictions, currently most of the businesses, personally in my area, aren't open yet. So it's unfortunate, but we are still recovering from this fire, even if we are.
Okay. Good to know. Well, hey, stay safe, Aaron. Thank you so much for the report.
Thank you.
Much love to you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll come back with more COVID-19 reports from across the USA. This is Eagle News. We'll return in a moment.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Ein sonniger Tag heute hier in Berlin vor dem Bundestag. Ich bin Irene Juliet Arzadon und möchte diese Gelegenheit nutzen, um ein paar Worte mit euch zu teilen. An alle Menschen da draußen. In dieser Zeit lasst uns nicht vergessen, den Menschen zu danken, die ihr Leben für uns opfern. Sei es die Menschen, die im Krankenhaus arbeiten, in den Altenheimen sowie in den Arztpraxen, aber auch an die Menschen, die im Lebensmittelhandel sich befinden. Die Kassierer. Manchmal reicht es aus, um ihnen ein freundliches Lächeln zu geben. Denn die Menschen, die heute am Arbeiten sind, weil sie nicht so wie einige von uns zu Hause bleiben können, die sollten wir wertschätzen. Ihnen sollten wir unseren Dank ausrichten. Darum lasst uns noch mehr zusammenhalten. Sie wertschätzen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eagle News America. I'm Michael Hudson, reporting from Seattle, Washington. New York extends its citywide curfew through Sunday. New York Bureau Chief Joanne Soriano reports. Joanne?
Hi, Michael. 2.1 million New Yorkers have been tested for COVID-19. Yesterday, 54,000 tests were done and 1,300 tests came back positive. Day 94 of the COVID crisis here. The number of hospitalizations is down. Number of new COVID cases walking in the door is at an all-time low. 154. Mayor de Blasio today announced universal COVID-19 testing for all New Yorkers. He said, widespread testing holds the key to reopening our city safely. After months of fighting, we are finally able to say that every New Yorker who needs a test will get one. In addition, any person who is unable to safely separate in their home, the city will offer take care hotels free of charge. Any doctor, nurse, or physician's assistant across the city can refer a patient to a room. Now, peaceful protests in support of George Floyd and against police brutality continued throughout New York City. Tonight is the second night of the curfew, which will last from 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. and is in effect through Sunday. Essential workers are exempt from the curfew. No traffic will be allowed in Manhattan south of 96th Street, with the exception of local residents, essential workers, buses, and truck deliveries. The subway will be closed from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. City Bike is turned off for the night, and all for-hire vehicles and services will be suspended from 8 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. And currently, even amidst the curfew, thousands of protesters are still outside in defiance of the curfew order. Last night's curfew was set at 11 p.m. and rampant looting started well before the curfew even started, despite doubling police presence from 4,000 to 8,000 officers. Across Manhattan, many stores were damaged or looted in Midtown, including Macy's and Herald Square, and luxury stores in Soho and along Fifth Avenue. Sadly, even areas of the Bronx, which are predominantly minority, were also victims of looting and fires. Nearly 2,000 people have been arrested over 5 days of protests so far, with another 700 arrested last night. NYPD Chief Monahan knelt alongside protesters yesterday in Washington Square Park, after which he also embraced some of them. He said, "Everyone, this has got to end. We all know Minnesota was wrong. They were arrested, which they should be. There is not a police officer over here that thinks Minnesota was justified. We cannot be fighting. We have to live here. This is our home." Cuomo also addressed the issue, saying,
Thank you so much, Joanne. So, with all the...
To the protesters for tonight, I ask them to be calm, be peaceful, so the police don't have to spend a lot of time with the protesters, and the police can do their job with the looting and the criminal activity. But keep in mind, during this moment, when you're going out to protest, we're still in the middle of the COVID pandemic. When does change come in society? Change comes when the people are mobilized and outraged. That's when change comes. And this can be a moment of great change.
The Empire State Building went dark yesterday in remembrance of George Floyd and injustice in all its forms. In New York, Joanne Soriano, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Michael.
So, Joanne, it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on in New York right now. I mean, do you have any positive news for us?
Yeah, it's a little disheartening when you see them breaking the store windows and you're seeing it live. People are actually posting this on social media, and you can see where they're walking, where they're going, and what stores are destroying. It's really heartbreaking. But on the positive side, it's really powerful seeing that thousands of people can march alongside each other peacefully, no matter what race or ethnicity they are. And this morning in the Bronx, that community that was vandalized, the community gathered on Fordham Road to have a big cleanup event to clear up the shattered glass and debris that was left behind from the night before. They even had people giving out food, water, masks, gloves, trash bags, and cleaning supplies. So that was very uplifting to see.
Oh, that's great. That's really great news. Well, please stay safe, Joanne, in New York. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you, Mike.
So Governor Phil Murphy and Attorney General Gerber Gruel of New Jersey announced updates to ongoing initiatives that advance greater trust and relationship between the police and the communities they serve. In Union Township, we have our New Jersey Bureau Chief, Carlo Valdez, for the update.
Thanks, Mike. At Trenton, New Jersey, Governor Murphy and Attorney General Gruel announced new updates to ongoing initiatives that advance greater trust and relationship between the police and the communities they serve. In New Jersey, Governor Murphy said, "Fixing a system that is fundamentally broken requires us to acknowledge the erosion of trust between communities of color and law enforcement. From day one, my administration has been committed to bringing transformational change to community policing and police culture in New Jersey. Under Attorney General Gould's leadership, we will take further steps to build upon our progress and deepen the well of trust in our communities, including the first update of our use of force policies in 2 decades. Attorney General, that our country has a long way to go, not only in healing our nation's racial divides, but also in addressing the systemic implicit biases that affect all Americans. Long before this week's protest, we committed ourselves to making New Jersey a national leader in policing reform, and we're in this for the long haul, not because it's easy or popular, but because it's the right thing to do. The initiatives announced today build on important programs and policies the Attorney General's Rules Office has implemented in recent years to strengthen police community trust. They are Excellence in Policing Initiative, statewide implicit bias training, and de-escalation training. And for COVID-19 updates, in today's daily press briefings, Governor Murphy announced that 10 weeks ago, 1 infected person was infecting more than 5 others. Today, it's less than a 1-to-1 ratio. Social distancing works. Wearing a face covering works. As long as we keep it up, we will get through stage 2 of our restart and recovery. Stage 2 consists of the opening up of outdoor dining, limited in-person retail, limited personal care such as barbershops and hair salons, youth summer programs, some in-person clinical research, limited fitness gyms, some in-person government services such as the motor vehicle service. Murphy announced, quote, "We cannot lose sight of what's important, remaining vigilant and keeping up with our social distancing. We are still at or near the top of the list in terms of patients in hospitals and the numbers of residents who are losing to COVID-19. We cannot let our guard down." The number of patients reported in either critical or intensive care dropped to 639. Ventilator use is now 459, 4th consecutive day under 500. 151 new COVID-19 hospitalizations and 102 patients discharged yesterday. According to COVID-19.nj.gov, there were a total of 700 new cases reported today, bringing the total to 161,545 New Jerseyans that tested positive for COVID-19. 51 new deaths have been recorded. In Union Township, New Jersey, Carlo Valdez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Quick question for you, Carlo. First of all, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. So as far as the 4-phase plan, it seems like the majority of the businesses are in phase 2. What's the timeline look like transitioning to phase 3?
So we have June 15 is the start, and then it's gonna keep going. And once stage 2 clears, around maybe sometime in July, stage 3 will be.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Well, hey, please stay safe, Carlo. Thank you so much for your report. Texas Governor Greg updates the state's response to protest violence and calls for unity following George Floyd's death. Our Texas Bureau Chief, Jane Kathleen Gregorio in Corpus Christi reports.
Thank you, Mike. In Dallas, Texas, Governor Greg Abbott held a press conference today to share the latest updates on the state's response to protest violence happening across Texas. He called for swift justice in the case of George Floyd's death and discussed ways Texas is working with law enforcement to uphold peace and maintain public safety so that peaceful protesters can continue to make their voices heard. He was joined by Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson and Police Chief Renee Hall. Fort Worth Mayor Betty Price and Police Chief Ed Krause, Major General Tracy Norris of the Texas National Guard, and the Texas Department of Public Safety, DPS Director Colonel Steve McGraw. To combat the violence, vandalism, and looting across Texas, the governor deployed DPS officers and the Texas National Guard to several cities, which include 1,000 DPS officers and hundreds of guardsmen to the Dallas-Fort Worth region. They will be partnering with the FBI to stop the violence and protect those protesting peacefully. On Monday, the governor announced the state is working with 4 United States attorneys in Texas to ensure that individuals crossing state lines to hijack peaceful protests with violence will be subject to federal prosecution. The governor stated that Texans must be able to exercise their First Amendment rights without fear of having agitators, including those coming from out of state, hijack their peaceful protests. He stated that today's announcement will ensure that there are harsh consequences for those breaking the law and that they will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. According to the city of Dallas, a curfew will be set in central downtown from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Meanwhile, we spoke to Dallas-Fort Worth residents, Devitt Kennard and his wife, Antoinette Cooper from O'Fallon, Missouri, who shared their personal views regarding protest violence and rioting and other ways people can make a change. Let's take a look.
I've gone around and around. Everybody's got their different views. I mean, I understand it all. I really do. But I've always been my own person and my own views, and just what I see, I don't see us honoring those people who actually fought for these rights to, for us to have these rights. We're just going out there mad crazy, and it's on both sides. It's white, black, Hispanic. I mean, these videos are outrageous, and they say in the name of George Floyd, but I just see a lot of people who are using it to gain their own personal, having their own personal gain with it. And it's scary. It's a scary thought because now they're starting to attack innocent people. And that's why they're calling in military and everything, because now innocent people are truly getting hurt by this as well, with the protesting and the true protesters who are actually out there being peaceful, they are now being compared to as the looters. So now you don't know who is who. And with the military, they're not going to ask you. They're not going to ask you. And so I'd tell anyone, be safe out there, play it safe, play it right. It takes away the legacy when you're not honoring the man. Okay? The protest started because we all saw a man literally die before our eyes. And for those who were actually doing the recording, I applaud them because that's hard. I mean, that's hard because you want to step in, but they would draw their gun and shoot also. To honor that man. Make the change. How do we make the change? We protest. You march. You organize. You plan. You strategize. You vote those people out. That was the power of voting. These politicians want your votes. They need your votes. If you say no, their livelihood is done themselves. That's their livelihood is being in politics. Well, the only way they can have a job is we vote them into a job. Vote them out. The people have the power. Do not let the government take away the power by rioting. Don't let them take away that power by rioting because they can. I mean, you're committing crimes. And when you commit a crime, of course, they take your rights away. So I say be educated, stay educated, not segregated.
Whenever they did their protest in O'Fallon, Missouri, They did it at my high school, my old high school, and they started there, and then they went up, and then my dad lives like, I would walk to school, so he lived right there. So I was like, okay, but it was perfect. Like, they actually did a protest that is how it's supposed to be done. It was peaceful. They organized it with the police officers. The actual chief walked with them hand in hand, and so nothing got out of hand. It was just great. So I'm like, that's what they need to show more of. That's what they need to do more of. So
yeah, the news need to show more of that. They're continuing to show this craziness, but they don't want to show the good protesting that's going on, and that gives people hope out there, and that's what they need to show more of that.
Meanwhile, as protests continue across Texas, we leave you with the words from the Fort Worth Police Department, who, during a protest on Monday, were seen kneeling, hugging, and shaking hands with protesters. The Twitter post from the Fort Worth Police stated, "We kneel together, we stand together, we're with our community. Respect for the rights of all is our most important duty. Human compassion is our most important obligation, and devotion to the safety and welfare of all our community is our solemn pledge." In Corpus Christi, Texas, I'm Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Mike.
Quick question for you before you sign off tonight. So with all the news sorely revolving around protesting, we can't forget about the COVID-19, about what's going on. Can you give us an update about the levels on that?
Sure, Mike, and that's a good question. As a matter of fact, regarding to COVID-19, in a tweet from Governor Abbott on Monday, Texas had the fewest COVID-19 fatalities since March 30th. We also had the fewest Texans testing positive for COVID-19 in the past 6 weeks. And as a state, Texas has the second most recoveries from COVID-19 in America. Of the 66,568 positive cases, we had 1,698 fatalities and 44,517 recoveries. Mike?
Thank you so much. You have a good night. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
So we're going to go ahead and take another break. My name is Michael Hudson. This is Eagle News. We will return in a moment.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Abangan ang kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure Building a Better World. Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Lunch and Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Food Standard Juicy, ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated, Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, CompuZell Computer Services, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandwich Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandwich Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Star Tollway is a 41.9-kilometer highway that stretches out from Santo Tomas, Batangas all the way to Batangas City. An important component of the company's portfolio, the NAIA Expressway project is a 5.4-kilometer elevated expressway that connects the Skyway system to NAIA Airport terminals and the entertainment city. SMC Infrastructure's ventures also include other projects aside from the toll road business.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks. Bakit natin ipinagluluto ang mga mahal natin? We want them to feel special. Sa meaty luncheon meat that we serve. If your pure intentions had a taste, it would taste like Pure Foods. Pure sarap, Pure Foods luncheon meat.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Eagle News. This is Michael Hudson reporting from Seattle, Washington. Anti-racism protests sparked by George Floyd's fatal arrest spread across Southern California. Mylene Cushio in North Hills reports.
Thank you, Michael. With the current COVID-19 pandemic sweeping throughout the county and escalating protests and civil unrest at the same time, the demand for healthcare professionals is needed much more now than ever. For roughly 125 years, the Los Angeles County College of Nursing and Allied Health, or CONA for short, has served as a vital pipeline in the community, training various generations of nurses and frontline healthcare workers. Recognized as one of the top academic programs in California, CONA graduates an average of 100 students each year. Accredited by the Accrediting Commission for Community and Junior Colleges of Western Association of Schools and Colleges, CONA offers a pre-licensure Associate of Science degree in nursing program approved by California Board of Registered Nursing. Students enrolled in the nursing program are able to receive the foundation of their nursing careers through hands-on experience during their clinical rotations. Here in Los Angeles County, not only do Angelenos have to face the increasing COVID-19 cases, but also the growing tension of the nation's reaction to the unfortunate death of George Floyd. Protests and rallies have started in neighborhoods throughout Southern California. Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Van Nuys, Long Beach, Northridge, and Hollywood. For the last several days, a county-wide and city-wide curfew has been placed on all of Los Angeles County to prevent further looting and violent protests from damaging the city. Today, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti issued a third-day curfew for all of Los Angeles City in collaboration with Los Angeles County officials from 6 p.m. this evening to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Only those traveling to and from work, going to vote, or emergency responders are exempt. In Los Angeles County, the number of cases increased with 1,202 newly reported cases and 60 new deaths. The total number of confirmed cases in the county are 57,118, with 2,443 deaths, as announced today by the Los Angeles Public Health Department. Barbara Ferrer, the director of Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, stated, quote, "We urge everyone, including the people across our community who are engaging in protests, to please care for each other by practicing physical distancing as much as possible and wearing a cloth face covering when around other people. These actions are important in preventing many more cases and hospitalization from COVID-19. These actions can save lives." In North Hills, California, Mylene Cusio, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Michael.
Hey, thank you so much for the report, Mylene. I did have a quick question for you. So, with the pandemic that's going on, many hospitals had to shut down a lot of the clinical rotations that a lot of the nursing students have to do. So what are some of the alternative ways that nurses are getting clinical hours?
Well, Michael, some hospitals have been slowly taking nursing students back, and there are some programs that have sent students to assist in COVID testing as part of their clinical experience. So these programs are trying to find different ways and means to help fulfill the required clinical hours. But as you know, due to the George Floyd protests, these have been mandatory. There have been mandatory curfews, and well, that means that the COVID testing sites have to close early as well.
Understood. Well, please stay safe out there. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Governor Gavin Newsom addresses protests in the state of California. Macy Membrere in Sacramento has the details.
Thank you. Now, amidst the coronavirus pandemic, protests have occurred within this past week here in the capital of California. In a recent press conference, Governor Newsom addressed these demonstrations. He points out that creating new programs and passing them to address the needs of American people is not enough, but that the change needed is deeper than that. Let's listen to what he has to say.
The question we have to ask ourselves, are we capable of not just meeting this moment, but capable of doing justice to the moments in front of us? I could put together a group of advisors. I could put together a task force. I could promise and promote a few pieces of legislation. And I said this on Friday, I'll say it again, program passing is not problem solving. You got to change hearts, minds, you got to change culture, not just laws. And we have to own up to some very difficult things. The Black community is not responsible for what's happening in this country right now. We are. We are. Our institutions are responsible. We are accountable to this moment.
Governor Newsom also expressed that as individuals of this community, we have a responsibility in making a change for justice. He explains more.
So we don't systemically, foundationally address the root of these issues. We prune. We don't tear out the institutional racism from all of our institutions, large and small. We don't. We know that. And the community knows that. You're seeing that manifested out in the streets the last 5 days. They know that. Question is, do we deeply understand that? Do we, or are we prepared to do something differently about it? Each and every one of us watching, what are we going to do differently, foundationally, fundamentally, not in the short run, but in the long run, to do justice to this moment? People have lost patience because they haven't seen progress. So if you're out there saying, well, people need to be patient, consider people have lost patience for a reason. They've been told that over and over and over and over again, not just the 52 years I've been around. My parents, my grandparents, their parents' generation heard the same. Just be patient.
He calls to action every individual watching, and that there is a need for leaders to step up and share their moral authority, to lead by example. Let's listen.
But leaders can be found everywhere. Leadership's not just some fancy title. We are desperate for leadership in this country, desperate for leadership in the state of California, desperate for leadership in communities large and small. Leaders can be found anywhere. You don't have to be something to do something, to soften the edges in the spirit of Bobby Kennedy, make more gentle the life of this world. Dr. King didn't wait to become president of the United States to exercise his authority. Every day he shared his moral authority. Each and every one of us has the capacity to exercise their moral authority every day. And we need moral leaders now more than ever. Each and every one of us has that capacity, resides inside of us. It's our capacity to lead by example, to find our better angels, to focus on the things that unite us, not what divide us, and to reinforce a sense of optimism because we recognize we have to do things differently, and we're resolved to prove that, not just assert that, and to hold ourselves to account.
To close out the press conference, Governor Newsom deplored the looting and violence happening among the protests, but encouraged those who are exercising their freedom of speech responsibly to continue to do so in order to bring change to the causes of injustice. Let's hear what he has to say.
To those that want to exploit this moment, that want to flame violence and fear, we hear you as well, but we don't have the same sensitivities as it relates to those that are trying to exercise their voice from a place of hurt and pain. When you try to cause pain on others, when you're out there to exploit conditions, not advance the cause of justice, that is not serving the greater good, and we need to also call that out. The looting, the violence, the threats against fellow human beings, that has no place in this state and in this nation. We as a society need to call that out. And we need to call forth our better angels and those that want to express themselves and have, thank you. God bless you. Keep doing it. Your rage is real. Express it so that we can hear it. Let's not let others drown out that rage and those that want to advance this cause in a responsible and thoughtful way. I'm not patient any longer. I know you're not. We hear you, and we have a responsibility now to prove to you, not just to assert, that we're capable of being more and doing better as a society and a community.
In Sacramento, California, Macy Manbury, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you so much, Macy. Just today in Philadelphia, a gun shop owner shot and killed a looter in a store. A 24-year-old died from injuries he got while trying to blow up an ATM machine. These types of situations may be challenging for the men and women trained to handle them. But what about the loved ones of police officers left at home? How do they survive the ups and downs that come with the job? With us are Mary Beth Ventus and Matthew and Katerina Ventus, who are the wife and son and daughter of a police officer in Philadelphia. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Great. So can you tell me a little bit about Philadelphia? You know, I've never been there before. Can you give me kind of like a rundown of what a normal day in the city is like?
It's busy, a lot of people. It's a big city. pretty much that much.
And do you guys live more like in the downtown area, or do you live kind of the rural?
We live in South Philadelphia. It's not too far from downtown.
Oh, okay. I mean, you did mention you live close to the Phillies stadium, so that's pretty exciting.
Yes. About 15 minutes walk.
Oh, wow. So huge Bryce Harper fans, I'm sure.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, as far as, your husband is a police officer, do you know how he got into the profession, and can you touch up a little bit on that?
I guess he just decided to be a police officer one day, took the test, went to the academy.
And did you guys meet before he was an officer, or while he was a police officer?
Yes, we met before. We were already married.
Oh, you were? Okay, great. And so, I mean, how do you guys feel about, him leaving? I'm sure during this time you guys are a bit nervous and, worry about him and things like that. What are some of the emotions that go through your head?
A little bit right now. Usually we don't, but it's different now. It's been a little hectic. So we worry a little more.
Yeah, I'm sure. So what kind of gets you through that? Do you guys distract yourselves with certain things? Do you guys do things as a family to kind of forget about the horrors that are going on right now?
Yeah. We're staying home because of the pandemic. We keep busy. We pray.
So, what's been harder for you guys? The coronavirus or the protesting? What's been the most difficult to cope with?
For me, it's the protests. The pandemic, not too bad. It was pretty calm during the pandemic, which we're still in. But the protest is more nerve-wracking. We don't know where people are going to go, where they're going to riot. There were rumors they were going to come around here yesterday, but they didn't. So.
Right. And so to kind of go back to your husband, what his everyday duties are like. Are there certain things that he tells you guys, kind of gives you advice on how not to worry, or what are your guys' discussions are like, before he leaves for the day?
For the most part, he doesn't patrol the streets anymore. He's in a special unit, a community relations team. But the last few days he has been patrolling. It's been pretty calm where they send him, but he'll update us where things are going on, where to avoid if we do go somewhere.
Oh, got you. Okay, great. So Matt, if I can ask you a question real quick. So are you looking to become a police officer one day too? Or, I mean, what's your line of profession right now?
Well, I've recently just graduated college, I guess. Didn't actually have graduation, but, and I'm graduated in chemical engineering. So right now I'm looking for a job in that.
Oh, great. So you probably have the brains of the family then.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things I'm sure you worry about, when your dad's out there as well, especially right now? Are there certain things that you do to kind of let past fly by quickly, or kind of distract yourself from everything?
Well, I just do what I usually do every day during this pandemic, exercise and video games and eat, things to keep me busy. And of course I pray while he's out there, so I don't really worry too much.
Okay, gotcha. And Katerina, if I can ask you a quick question, what do you love most about your dad?
I like that he's willing to do anything that I ask.
Oh, really? He does everything you ask. So if there's like a nice toy doll that you want, and you ask him for it, he's gonna buy it for you.
Probably.
Wow, man. Lucky girl. Well, hey, as we get to the end of the interview, is there any advice that you have, for anybody that's going through these times right now?
Just be prayerful. Know where to go, where not to go, and always be prayerful.
And keep up the humor. Humor is key, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So, as we close the show, we want to continue to thank our frontline and essential workers with a round of applause. And congratulations to the graduates of class of 2020. We're so proud of you guys, and we celebrate with all of you. Congrats. Wow. Oh, nice picture. Oh, there we go, Matt. Going college. Oh, professional right there. There we go. Well, that's it for EBC International coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Hudson. We live in interesting times.
At tama rin po, dahil siya ay napanganak sa United States, ay siya din po ay isang American citizen. By birth, both Filipino and American citizen. Ang kanya pong paggamit ng kanyang US passport ay hindi po dahilan para mawala po ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. At ang hindi naman po niya pagkakaroon ng Philippine passport ay hindi rin isang dahilan na hindi siya maging Pilipino. Dahil katulad nga po ng nabanggit ko kanina, sa kanya pong pagkapanganak na may Pilipinong ama at Pilipinang ina, ay nagbibigay sa kanya ng pagka-Pilipino niya o ng kanyang Philippine citizenship.
Thank you po, Yusek. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Barzaga.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Unang-una, Mr. Chairman, isang malaking karangalan na ang isang taong katulad ko na pangkaraniwan lamang ay mabibigyan ng pagkakataon na makapagtanong at makapagpatanong at makapaglinaw sa mga issue na hinaharap ng ABS CBN pati na kay Ginoong Gabby Lopez. Bilang ordinaryong Pilipino na pinanganak sa lalawigan ng Cavite, mahalaga sa akin ang citizenship. It is the oath of allegiance of a person to his country. And for the record, in 1975, during the period of martial law, and also in 1983, bagamat ang tatlong kapatid ko ay nasa Amerika at nakatanggap ako ng 2 petisyon para maging immigrant at pumunta sa Amerika. Notwithstanding that it is a period of martial law, I chose to remain in the Philippines. At maraming nagtatanong sa akin, Pili Barzaga, bakit sinayang mo ang pagkakataon? At isa ang sagot ko, I am a Filipino. Kung ano man ang may tutulong ko sa aking bansa, yon ay gagawin ko. Ginoong Lopez, ipinanganak ka sa Amerika noong 1952 sa Boston, Massachusetts. Ang una kong tanong, hanggang kailan ka tumigil sa Amerika bago ka bumalik sa Pilipinas?
Magandang umaga po, Congressman Barzaga. Thank you for that question. Alam mo po, yung tatay ko ay nag-aaral sa Boston noon. At napanganak ako habang nag-aaral siya sa Harvard Business School. So in effect, I stayed in America, I believe it was less than a year. So talaga dito ako lumaki sa Pilipinas. I was only born there, and within the space of 1 year, we had returned to the Philippines. The only time I have been in America for any extended period of time, other than my birth, was during martial law, when my father and I escaped the prison of Marcos and escaped to America. So we came back immediately after the EDSA revolution. So other than those periods, I have been living in the Philippines all my life.
Ang katanungan ko lamang po ay kailan ang unang pagkakataon na kayo ay pumunta sa Pilipinas mula nang kayo ay ipinanak. At ang sabi nyo, halos pagkalipas lamang ng 1 taon. Tama po ba?
Opo, Your Honor.
At sapagkat bumalik kayo sa Pilipinas, kinakailangan meron kayong passport at siguro ang passport na ginamit nyo ay US passport. Tama po ba?
Hindi ko po maalala yun, Your Honor, but I suppose ito sa US passport.
Ano sagot?
Opo, Your Honor.
US passport. At nang bumalik kayo sa Pilipinas, 1 year after your birth, bumalik ba ulit kayo sa Amerika?
As I said, I went back to America to go to college, Your Honor.
More or less ilang taon yon sa una niyong pagdating sa Pilipinas?
I believe I was 19 years old, Your Honor.
19 years old. Matatandaan niyo ba kung gaano katagal ang validity ng US passport?
Hindi ko po maaalala.
Alaman, hindi niyo matandaan. Pero nang bumalik kayo sa Amerika, nang kayo ay 19 na taon na gulang na, ang ginamit nyo sa pagbalik sa Amerika ay US passport.
Hindi ko po maalala kung US passport ang ginamit ko po.
Nililinaw lang po natin para sa kapakanan ng ating mga mamamayan. Kanina po ay napag-usapan dito, kasama na ang paglilinaw ng aming mga kasamang kinatawan na nagkaroon lamang kayo ng Philippine passport noon 2001. Tama bang sabihin na hanggang noong 2001, wala kayong Philippine passport?
Hindi po. It is possible that my parents got me a Philippine passport during the times that I was in the Philippines. Pero hindi ko po maalala.
Bumalik kayo sa Amerika na kayo ay 19 na taon na gulang na, ano ang ginawa niyo sa Amerika?
Nag-aral po ako, Your Honor.
Gano'ng katagal po kayo nag-aral sa Amerika?
4 na taon po, Your Honor.
So, higit kumulang, ang inyong pag-aaral ay umabot ng 4 na taon, 23 taon kayo nang matapos ang inyong pag-aaral. Nang kayo ba ay makatapos sa Amerika, bumalik ba kayo sa bansang Pilipinas?
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay. At pagbalik nyo sa bansang Pilipinas,
last question po tayo, Congressman Barsaga.
may I just be permitted to finish this line of questioning?
Yes, last po. Thank you.
About this situation. Nung kayo ay bumalik sa Pilipinas, ang gamit nyo rin ay US passport when you were already 23 years of age.
I cannot recall, Your Honor.
Okay, you cannot recall. Noong bumalik kayo when you were already 23 years of age, and that would be approximately in 1965, umalis ba ulit kayo sa Pilipinas at bumalik sa Amerika?
Opo, Your Honor.
Natatandaan niyo po ba kung kailan kayo bumalik sa Amerika pagkatapos niyong dumating sa Pilipinas noong 1965?
I think I have we have the dates wrong. No? 1952, I was in the Philippines 19 years. So I went to America in 1970. I graduated from college in 1974. Tumakas kami sa Amerika in 1977. And I went to take my master's in Boston in 1978, and I came back in 1986 po. After the EDSA revolution.
Sabi, tama ba yung sagot, yung appreciation namin kanina, na pagkalipas ng 4 na taon ng inyong pag-aaral sa Amerika, bumalik na kayo sa Pilipinas?
Opo, Your Honor.
And that would be approximately in 1965, sapagkat ang edad nyo noon ay halos 23 years old. Sapagkat ang sabi nyo, 19 na taong kayong gulang nang kayo ay bumalik sa Amerika.
Opo, but it's not 1965 po. It's 1975 po, Your Honor.
1975 na kayo ay bumalik sa Pilipinas?
Sa Amerika. I was 23 years old. 1952 to 1975.
Nang kayo ay bumalik sa Amerika?
1975. No,
Okay.
I went back in 1977 yata po.
At bumalik kayo?
Bumalik ako sa Amerika. Tumakas po ako. Tumakas ko po ako kasama ng tatay ko. And si Senator Osmeña.
In 1975?
1977.
1977.
Opo.
At gano'ng katagal naman kayo tumigil sa Amerika mula noong 1977?
Until the EDSA revolution po, Your Honor.
And the EDSA revolution was in 1986, February to be exact.
I returned in July 1986 po.
1986. Nang kayo ay nasa Amerika, kayo ba ay nakabili ng anumang property sa Amerika, katulad ng kotse, katulad ng lupa, o anumang ari-arian?
Opo, Your Honor.
Opo. At sapagkat kabisado niyo naman ang mga kontrata, bilang isang businessman, certainly sa mga kontratang nagpapatunay na kayo ay may binling ari-arian sa Amerika, ay sasabihin nyo ang inyong personal circumstances. Tama po ba?
Opo, Your Honor.
At siguro sapagkat kayo ay nasa Amerika, holder of a Philippine passport, ang lagi nyong nilalagay sa description ng inyong citizenship ay American citizen.
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay.
Kung PD, okay na po.
Not yet.
Pakirap na po. Pakirap na po.
Well, anyway, unlike my fellow congressmen, I did not make any lengthy manifestation nor any quotes coming pertaining to the decision of the Supreme Court. I'm merely asking for factual information. Kasi ito ang purpose natin factual. When it comes to the legal, then let our lawyers handle that. Okay, yun lamang. So, I'll continue. Please. Sino ba ang susunod sa akin?
Congressman Acosta.
Okay. For a while. Kung nandito lamang si Congressman Acosta, hingin ko na sana. Well, anyway, let me continue. Sa inyong pagkakatanda, ilang US passport ang inyong nagamit sa matagal niyong pag-aantay, pagtigil sa bansang Amerika?
In 1975 to 1986, I did not need a US passport because I never traveled outside of America po.
Pakiulit po, between
1975 and 1986, I did not need my US passport because I did not travel outside the United States.
Pero noong 1986, nang kayo ay bumalik sa Pilipinas, ang ginamit nyo ay US passport. Tama po ba?
Opo, Your Honor.
Well, sinasabi ng aking mga kasamahan katina, pati na ng inyong abogado, na kayo ay isang natural-born citizen because your father, under the 1973 Constitution, is a Filipino citizen. Ang tanong ko po lamang ay, kailan ang unang pagkakataon na nalaman nyo na kayo kahit na pinanganak sa Amerika ay isang Filipino citizen?
Your Honor, all my life I have considered myself a Filipino citizen. I grew up in the Philippines. My father was a Filipino. His father was a Filipino. We are 7 generations of Lopezes living in the Philippines.
Well, as a matter of fact, your uncle, who happens to be the brother of your father, was elected for several positions, including vice presidency during the time of President Marcos.
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay. Ngayon, you admitted at sinabi mo sa amin na ikaw ay nag-aral sa Amerika. Doon ka nagkuleyo. Doon ka tumigil. Sa Amerika ba, ang isang Filipino citizen ay hindi pwedeng mag-apply ng Philippine passport before the consulate sa Amerika?
Hindi ko po alam, Your Honor.
Hindi sumagi sa iyong isipan na ito itanong sa iyong mga magulang, pati na sa iyong mga kamag-anak sa Amerika, na ako ay Pilipino, our family tradition is in the service of the Filipino nation, kaya ang gusto ko ay maging Pilipino at gustong kumuha ng Philippine passport kahit na ako ay nandito sa bansang Amerika.
Your Honor, after 1972, it was martial law. My family properties were taken over by Mr. Marcos. How could I go to an embassy owned and controlled by Mr. Marcos and ask for a Philippine passport?
Well, what about bumalik ka sa Pilipinas, anong petsa?
July 1986.
July 1986. And you know, at nalalaman mo, bilang isang katotohanan na ang Marcos ay nawala na as early as February 1986. So meron kang sapat na pagkakataon mula Marso, Abril, Mayo, up to July na mag-apply ng Philippine passport sa Amerika. Pero hindi mo ginawa sapagkat hindi mo alam.
Opo, Your Honor. It was not the primary thought.
Salamat. Mr. Chairman, one last point. Sinabi mo kanina, at sinabi rin ni Attorney Ayo, na noong year 2000, nag-apply ka ng Certificate of Recognition as a Filipino citizen. And perhaps Attorney Ayo can answer my question.
Attorney Ayo, you're recognized.
Opo, humingi po siya ng petition for recognition sa Bureau of Immigration.
Based on our practice, whenever we apply for a petition, kapag tayo ay nag-apply ng petition, the petition might be granted, the petition may not be granted.
Opo.
Diba?
Opo.
Sa matter of fact, ang sabi nga ng kaibigan ko si Ed Lagman, the recognition is an affirmation that he is a Filipino citizen. At nabanggit mo din kanina, unfortunately, you were not the lawyer of Mr. Gabi Lopez in the year 2001.
Opo.
Okay. I am an ordinary Filipino citizen. Ang mga magulang ko ay Pilipino. I was born in 1950, 2 years earlier than the birth of Mr. Lopez. And therefore, my citizenship is being governed by the 1935 Constitution. Kapag nag-apply ako ng passport, katulad ng ordinaryong Pilipino, sapagkat kami ay natural-born citizen, mag-apply lamang kami ng application sa Department of Foreign Affairs. We have just to show the birth certificate showing our parents together with their nationality. As a lawyer, kung ganyan ang ginawa ni Mr. Lopez at hindi na nag-file ng petition for recognition, mai-issue ba siya ng Philippine passport?
Hindi po ako eksperto dalubhasa sa immigration law, Congressman PD, no? Pero bilang Pilipino, he is entitled to a Philippine passport as long as he complies with all the formal requirements. Kaya kung kailangan po o makakatulong ang Certificate of Acknowledgement or Recognition ng Bureau of Immigration, kung ako po ang abogado niya, sasabihin ko, kumuha po tayo nun. At malinaw naman po dun sa binasa ko na yung Bureau of Immigration Law, at ito po ay kinonfirm ng taga-DOJ a few minutes ago, it is for any legal purpose. Kaya kahit ano pong dahilan, kung gustuhin ko na gamitin yung petition for recognition ko, wala akong irrelevant na ho kung ano yung dahilan eh.
Okay. Well, on record, and as submitted during the interpellation, the first time that Mr. Lopez, ang una-kaunahang pagkakataon na nag-apply ng Philippine passport si Mr. Lopez ay in 2001. Tama po ba?
Yun po ang intindi ko.
Okay.
Kasi po, Kong PD, tayo po, nung bata po tayo, when we were minors, kung kumukuha ng passport yung magulang natin, hindi po natin alam naman kung American o Filipino passport ang hiningi ng magulang natin. Eh. Basta sasabihin lang sa'yo, o lumabas tayo sa airport, pumunta tayo sa ganun.
Si Mr. Lopez bumalik sa Pilipinas noong 1986. Ang katanungan ko, mula noong 1986 up to the year 2000, mayroon bang mga dokumento o articles of incorporation na si Mr. Lopez ay incorporator?
Kong PD, sorry po, last na po talaga. Kasi binigay na rin po ni Kong Hila Costa yung oras sa inyo, pero
Ang COVID-19 ay isang nakahahawang sakit na sanhi ng bagong coronavirus na ngayon palang nakita sa mga tao. Ito ay pangunahing naikakalat ng tao sa pamamagitan ng mga droplet mula sa taong may sakit kapag siya ay magsasalita, uubo o babahing. Ang mga droplet na ito ay maaaring pumunta sa mga bibig o ilong ng mga taong malapit sa kanya. Masyadong mabigat ang mga droplet na ito upang maglakbay ng malayo sa hangin. Umaabot ng hanggang 1 metro ang pagtalsik nito at kaagad na mananatili sa ibabaw ng mga bagay. Ito ang dahilan kaya ang pagkahawa ng tao sa tao ay kadalas ay nangyayari sa pagitan ng mga close contact. Hindi pa alam ang eksaktong oras na nabubuhay ang virus sa mga bagay. Kaya mainam na palagi ang linisin ng mga gamit lalo na sa paligid ng taong may COVID-19. Ang mga kamay ay maaaring kontaminado ng virus lalo't marami itong hinahawakang mga bagay. Kaya iwasan ang paghawak ng mata, ilong at bibig dahil maaaring lumipat ang virus sa iyo sa pamamagitan ng kontaminadong kamay. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ng bibig at ilong gamit ang looban ng siko o gumamit ng tissue. Pagkatapos gamitin ang tissue, itapon ka agad sa basurahang may takip. Ang madalas na paglilinis ng kamay gamit ang hand sanitizer na may alkohol o sabon at tubig ang pinaka-epektibong paraan upang maiwasan ang bagong coronavirus. Matatagal nito ang virus kung ito'y nasa kamay mo. Manatiling malusog at iwasan ang pagkalat ng COVID-19.
Magandang umaga Pilipinas, ito po Sir Lubringas at ito ang Agila Pilipinas. Sa detalye ng ating mga balita, makit na sa 18,997 ang kabuang bilang ng COVID-19 cases na naitala sa bansa. Batay sa datos ng Department of Health, ito'y matapos silang may maitalang 359 na karagdagang pangkaso. Mula sa nasabing bilang, nasa 176 lamang ang fresh cases, habang 183 naman ang late cases. Sa mga fresh cases na ito, 33 ang mula sa National Capital Region, 89 sa Region 7 at 54 naman ay mula sa ibang lugar sa bansa. Sa late cases naman, ang 39 ay mula sa NCR, 8 naman sa Region 7, 111 naman sa iba pang mga lugar sa bansa, habang 25 naman ay mula sa hanay ng mga repatriate. May 84 namang naitala ng bagong kaso na nakarecover mula sa COVID-19. Kaugnay nito, umakyat na sa 4,063 ang bilang ng mga pasyenteng gumaling mula sa virus, habang may 6 namang naiulat pang nasawi dahil sa COVID-19. Sa kabuuan, nasa 966 na ang bilang ng nasawi sa bansa dahil sa COVID-19.
Po tayong 176 fresh cases na nadadagdag sa ating talaan, kung saan 33 ay galing sa National Capital Region, 89 from Region 7 at 54 naman po mula sa iba't ibang mga rehiyon sa ating bansa. Para naman po sa mga late cases, nakapagtala po tayo ng 183 cases na ang mga resulta ay lumabas lang mahigit 3 araw na ang nakalipas, ngunit ngayon lamang po na validate dahil ngayon lang po naibigay ng mga laboratorio sa ating Epidemiology Bureau. Sa 183 late cases, 39 ay galing sa National Capital Region, 8 po ay galing sa Region 7, at 111 naman ay galing sa iba't ibang rehiyon at 25 ay mga repatriates. Kaya po ang total confirmed case natin as of 4 p.m. today ay 18,997. Sa total confirmed cases po natin, meron tayong 84 na nakarecover na, kaya ang total recoveries po natin ay 4,063. Magandang balita po ito para sa ating lahat. Sa deaths naman, meron po tayong nadagdag na 6, kaya sa kasalukuyan ay meron na po tayong 966 na total deaths na ating naitatala.
Nasa 38 na certified at operational laboratories sa buong bansa ang nakapagsumiti na ng kompletong line list at daily accomplishment report mula pa noong June 1. Ayon kay Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Berhere, layo nito na bigyang daan ang clearing ng case ng validation backlogs. Samantalang natitirang 4 na laboratorio ay inaasahang makapagbigay ng kanilang report sa Webes. Naasahan nila na kapag nangyari ito ay mabeberipikan na nila ang mga natitirang kaso. Samantala, balikan natin ang mga kaganapan sa Kamara na kung saan tinatalakay po ngayon ang patungkol sa ABS CBN franchise bill
ng sertifikasyon.
Ito po ay nagpapatunay na siya ay isang tunay na Pilipino. Totoo po yan?
Maraming ibang bagay na pwede pong magpatunay din ito, pero isa ito sa mga pwedeng ibilang na ebidensya, pero hindi lang po ito.
Maraming salamat po. That will be all. No further question, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Maceda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you hear me?
Malinaw po, please proceed.
Yes, thank you. Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair, sa Chairman ng Chairman Alvarado and yourself and all the colleagues and all our resource persons. Thank you for the opportunity. Alam po natin na marami po tayong hihingi na issue dito, whether or not the applicant corporation has all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications para mabigyan po sila ng prangkisa na 25 taon. Medyo mahaba-haba pong prangkisa. Pero iisa-isahin natin to at sa ngayon nakafocus po tayo dun sa citizenship requirement po ng pagiging kung may-ari ka ng mass media corporation. At ang tao po na ngayon ay ating natanong ay si Mr. Gabby Lopez. So, I'll be very straightforward kasi nung natanong na rin naman ng mga congressman bago ako yung mga tanong ko. So, can I ask Mr. Gabby Lopez, number one, are his parents natural-born Filipino citizens?
Magandang umaga po, Congressman Maceda.
Yes.
The answer to your question is opo, Your Honor.
So, are you a natural-born Filipino citizen under the 1935 Constitution?
Opo, Your Honor.
And have you renounced in any manner your Filipino citizenship?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
So in your heart and in your mind, from the time you were born, Pinoy ka?
Opo, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions. I'd just like to say that I agree with some of the congressmen who appeared and interpellated before me that the reason of Mr. Lopez being born of Filipino parents under the 1935 Constitution when he is a natural-born Filipino. In fact, even if he were born under the 1973 or 87 constitutions, he's still a natural-born Filipino because of the law, the Latin maxim jus sanguinis, which means that it is by nationality or ethnicity of your parents that determines your nationality. However, since Mr. Lopez also born in the States, marami rin akong kaibigan na ganun, may kamag-anak rin ako na Pinoy ang magulang pero pinanganak sa Amerika. By reason of the law of the soil, the Latin maxim jus soli, he is also an American citizen. So, dual citizen siya. And I believe that with the laws that we have right now, the fact that he is a natural-born Filipino citizen, even if he is a dual citizen, means na he can be an owner of a mass media corporation. It is true na meron mga ibang posisyon tulad ng pagtakbo sa local government, certain positions na if you're a dual citizen, you have to renounce your foreign citizenship bago ka tumakbo. Because otherwise, pwede siya maging basis ng disqualification kahit manalo ka. But in this case, siguro kung gusto nating mas maliwanag kung ano ba talaga ang pwede pagdating sa pagiging owner ng mass media, what we mean by being purely Filipino ownership, then in my mind, in my humble opinion, then pwede natin pong palitan ng batas sa mga darating na panahon. So that's all, Mr. President, as regards this issue. Now, I know that the applicant corporation has a lot of other issues to answer, and I will listen to each and every issue and reserve my right to interpolate and make my judgment and opinion whether ABS CBN has all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications and violations, or whether in the later issues that will be raised against them, they will be shown to have violated any provision. But as regards this particular issue, I rest my case, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear colleagues.
Thank you, Congressman Maceda. Before we move on to the next interpellator, the Chair would like to remind the Bureau of Immigration to submit all the documents requested po kanina na certified true copy sa committee. Thank you. We now move on next to Congressman...
Mr. Chairman,
Kong Mike.
just a quick request also. If we can get the copies of the financial statements of the ABS CBN, which includes the ownership structure and also the PDRs, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Sa ABS, pakisabit na lang po. Thank you. Next is Congressman Paduano, combined with Congressman Bordado. Hindi po kasi makapasok si Kong Paduano, so pinasa niya na yung time and questions niya kay Congressman Bordado. Congressman Bordado, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Narinig ko na po yung mga pahayag ni Congressman Edsel Lagman, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, at Congressman Carlos Sarate. So ibig sabihin, Mr. Chairman, maliwanag na natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Lopez. And malinaw din po ang pahayag ng ating Department of Justice Undersecretary Emeline Aglipay Villar tungkol po sa citizenship ni Mr. Gabby Lopez. At narinig po natin ang kanyang sinabi na categorically natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Gabby Lopez. Ngayon, Mr. Chairman, may I address my question to Mr. Gabby Lopez? Mr. Chairman?
Please proceed.
Uulitin ko po yung isang tanong na medyo critical. Mr. Gabby Lopez, have you ever renounced your Filipino citizenship?
Magandang umaga po, Kong Bordado. The answer is no.
So, Mr. Chairman, maliwanag po na sinabi ulit ni Mr. Lopez na hindi niya ni-renounce ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. So, maliwanag din po na hindi niya sinasabing naging Amerikano siya, although dual citizenship ang kanyang hawak ngayon. So malinaw na po, Mr. Chairman, based on the pronouncements made by my colleagues, based on the pronouncement made by the Department of Justice itself through our former colleague and now the DOJ Undersecretary Emeline Aglipay Villar, na natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Gabby Lopez. Ngayon, Mr. Chairman, may pinakiusap sa akin si Congressman Caraps Paduano dahil nahihirapan po siya sa internet na we may as well invite some members of the 1987 Constitutional Commission to give inputs and insights into the real spirit of the 1987 Constitution, Mr. Chairman. I believe medyo tama po ang suggestion po ni Congressman Paduano na kung pwede po na ma-invite po natin ang some members of the CONCOM of 1987 para mag-share sila ng mga insights sa mga questions regarding the provisions of the 1987 Constitution.
Noted po, Congressman Bordado. We will try to invite sa next hearing natin kung meron tayong appear dito or kahit sa Zoom man lang.
So, as a final pronouncement, sinasabi ko ngayon na malinaw po na natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Gabby Lopez. So maraming salamat po, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you po, Congressman Bordado. We now move on to Congressman Fortun for his interpellation. Nakamute pa po, Kong Lawrence. Paki-unmute muna si Kong Fortun.
Naririnig po ba ako?
Okay na po.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Mabilis po ito. Hindi po ako magbibigay ng opinion. Diretsahang tanong. Sana diretsahan din ang mga sagot. Para po kay Mr. Gabby Lopez. Unang tanong, kayo po ay pinanganak sa Amerika sa mga Pilipinong magulang. Noong kayo po ay kumuha ng American passport, kayo po ba ay inobliga o na-require ng US Immigration na i-abandona ang inyong Philippine citizenship?
Magandang umaga po, Kong Fortune. Hindi po, Your Honor.
Sinabihan po ba kayo, Mr. Chair, sinabihan po ba kayo ng US Immigration na kayo ay hindi maaaring mabigyan ng pasaporte dahil kayo ay Filipino citizen din?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Noong 2001 po, nung kayo ay humingi ng recognition of citizenship mula sa Bureau of Immigration, naitanong ba sa inyo kung meron kayong kasalukuyang US passport noong panahon na yon?
I don't think so, Your Honor. I don't recall. Perhaps my lawyer will...
Di ako mawak.
Oo.
Ang ibig niyo po bang sabihin, hindi alam ng Bureau of Immigration o ng DOJ noong panahon na yon na holder kayo ng US passport?
Hindi ko po alam.
Sa nagkatuwid po, kung hindi man nila alam, naging issue ba ito? Naging issue ba sa inyo o sa kanila ang inyong pagiging holder ng US passport? Kung kayo po ay holder ng US passport, hindi ba kayo nila bibigyan ng recognition bilang Filipino citizen?
Hindi ko po alam. Your Honor, begging your indulgence, perhaps we can ask the Undersecretary of Department of Justice to respond to that particular question.
Yusek Villar, you're recognized. Yusek?
Opo, hinintay ko lang po, Mr. Chair, na ma-unmute ako.
You're recognized. Thank you.
Pagdating po sa pag-apply ng confirmation of citizenship, hindi po kinakailangan tingnan kung meron pasaporte ng ibang citizen ng ibang bansa ang nag-a-apply. Kailangan lang pong patunayan tulad ng ginawa po ni Mr. Gabby Lopez na meron siyang ama na Pilipino at ganun din na napakita din niya na meron siyang ina na Pilipina. At yun lang po ang nakasaad sa Constitution basta't mapatunayan po yun under the 1935 Constitution kung saan yun ang fundamental law in place nung panahon na napanganak si Mr. Lopez. Section 1, 3 of Article 6 na pag meron kang ama na Pilipino ay ikaw na rin ay Pilipino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa makatuwid, tanong ulit po kay Yusek Villar. Sa makatuwid, hindi po tinatanong ng DOJ o ng Bureau of Immigration kung ang isang aplikante para sa isang recognition of citizenship ay holder ng foreign passport dahil ito ay hindi issue.
Pagdating po sa citizenship, hindi po issue na may pasaporte po ng ibang bansa.
Maraming salamat po. Mr. Chair, dagdag pa rin na tanong para kay DOJ Yusek Villar. May mga pagkakataon po bang ang isang citizen ng ibang bansa, halimbawa American citizen, ay mag-a-apply na maging Filipino citizen at mabibigyan ng Filipino citizenship habang siya pa rin ay nananatiling American citizen?
Pagdating po sa naturalization ng mga foreign citizens, hindi po Filipino citizen, foreign citizen, na katulad po sa binigay niyo pong halimbawa, isang American citizen na nag-a-apply na maging naturalized na Filipino citizen. Yun po ba yung tanong nyo? O,
ang tinatanong ko po, Yusek, maaari po bang mag-apply ang isang American citizen halimbawa na maging Filipino citizen at mabibigyan siya ng Filipino citizenship habang siya pa rin ay nananatiling American citizen?
Depende po yun kasi po, depende kung sino po yung mga magulang nung nag-a-apply na American citizen, kung mapapatunayan niya yun. Pero kung ang magulang din po niya ay Amerikano at mag-a-apply siya na maging Pilipino, maging naturalized na Pilipino through whatever means allowed under our law, ay kinakailangan po niyang i-renounce yung pagiging Amerikano niya.
Sa makatuwid po, kung ang isang aplikante na American citizen para maging Filipino citizen ay ang mga magulang ay Pilipino, siya ay maaaring mabigyan ng Filipino citizenship ulit?
Kung ang magulang ay Pilipino at nawala niya ang kanyang Philippine citizenship, yun ba ang tanong ninyo?
Ito na lang po itatanong ko po, sino lang po ba ang maaaring maging dual citizen sa ilalim ng ating dual citizenship law? So, meron po kasi yan sa dual citizenship law, merong reacquisition at retention. So, under po ng dual citizenship law, kung meron pong isang Pilipinong na naturalize, bago maipasa ang batas na dual citizenship law, kailangan po niya mag-take ng oath na nakasaad din po doon sa batas para po ma-reacquire niya ang kanyang citizenship. Pero kung na-naturalize ang Pilipino, natural-born Pilipino, after mapasa ang dual citizenship law, ay kinoconsider na na-retain niya ang kanyang Philippine citizenship. Pero nakasaad sa batas pa rin na kahit na-retain niya, kinakailangan pa rin niyang mag-take ng. Sa kaso po ba ni Mr. Gabby Lopez, ano po ang kanyang kategorya? Retention o reacquisition?
Siya po ay hindi na-naturalize. Siya po ay nanatiling base sa mga facts na available po sa Department of Justice, ay wala pong ebidensya pang napepresenta para ipakita na kanyang naging naturalized American siya o na ni-renounce niya ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. So ang kanyang Filipino citizenship ay nananatili since birth.
In other words po, Madam Yusek, sa kaso po ni Mr. Gabby Lopez, ang kanyang kailangan ay simpleng recognition of Philippine citizenship.
For whatever purpose, pero hindi po niya to kailangan, yung certification po na in-issue ng Department of Justice, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, ay confirmatory lamang. Hindi niya po ito kailangan para maging Filipino citizen. Dahil po, siya po ay Filipino citizen na since birth. Dahil ang magulang niya ay Pilipino.
Kung Fortune, last question na po.
Dagdag lang na tanong po para kay Yusek. Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng recognition na nakuha ni Mr. Gabby Lopez? Ito po ba ay recognition ng kanyang Filipino citizenship mula noong siya ay humingi ng recognition? Kumbaga parang reactivation ng kanyang citizenship? O recognition ito ng kanyang Filipino citizenship mula noong siya ay pinanganak?
Sa certification po nakalagay po na natural born. Kaya po simula ng pagkapanganak.
In other words po, ang recognition ito ay nagsasaad na ni minsan si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay hindi natanggal ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. Tama po ba?
Sa certification po, opo, natural born. Pero ito po, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, ay base sa mga facts na available po ngayon sa Department of Justice.
Maraming salamat po. Mr. Chair, isa na lang kung meron tayong representatives mula sa Securities and Exchange Commission.
Meron po. You can direct your last question po sa SEC.
Okay, para sa SEC po, huling tanong. Noong si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay nag-assume na presidente ng ABS CBN, alam ba ninyo na itong si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay bagamat Pilipino ang kanyang mga magulang, ay ipinanganak sa Amerika at sa gayon siya rin ay American citizen?
Your Honor, this is Commissioner F. Amatong of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Thank you very much for the opportunity to participate in today's hearings, Your Honor. Your Honor, in the records with the SEC, we only have records as submitted by the corporation, ABS CBN, and the other corporations with Mr. Lopez, identifying him to be a Filipino citizen. We do not inquire anymore, Your Honor, as to the citizenship of his parents or his background. We are merely relying on the records that are submitted to us, primarily the corporate records, as certified by the corporate secretary.
Mr. Chair, isang tanong na lang po talaga, kahuli-hulihan. Pwede po ba?
Sige po, one last na lang po talaga.
One last question. Wala po bang ni isang forma na sinusumite sa Securities and Exchange Commission kung saan nilalagay ang pangalan ng presidente tulad ni Gabby Lopez, nilalagay din ang kanyang date of birth, nakalagay din ang kanyang place of birth, at nakalagay din ang pangalan ng kanyang mga magulang.
Your Honor, ang sinasubmit lang po sa amin ay ang Articles of Incorporation. Tulad ng in-explain po kanina, yung incorporators, nilalagay rin po yung citizenship. And the other forms that are submitted to us are the General Information Sheet containing the names and nationalities and addresses, pati po TIN number, tax identification number of the directors and officers of the corporation. So, andun po yung citizenship po nakalagay ng mga directors and officers. And per the records that were forwarded to me, ang representation po sa amin ay Pilipino po ang nakalagay in the case of Mr. Lopez when he was an officer of ABS CBN.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat sa
Thank you, Kong Fortun. Before
Mr. Gabby Lopez at sa ating mga resource persons.
Thank you. Before we recognize our next interpellator, may mga gusto na pong hingiin yung committee. Una po sa DOJ, kung pwede po natin hingiin lahat ng records na pertaining to Mr. Lopez's recognition. Sa SEC, pakisubmit po lahat ng records ng corporations, tulad po ng Articles of Incorporation, tsaka GIS, na kung saan po si Mr. Lopez po ay incorporator or officer. And then sa ABS po, lahat po ng related companies na relate na kasama, yung mga PDRs po ninyo, submit lang po. Congressman Mike, Defensor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, before I continue with my interpellation, let me just put on the record, because earlier it was mentioned by Attorney Bautista, that the SEC, in fact, approved the submission of the incorporation papers of ABS CBN. Malinaw po ang sinabi ng SEC ngayon, ministerial. Kung ano yung nilagay doon, tinanggap po nila. So there was no approval as to the citizenship. There's no approval or process for the SEC. So, pasok na po ako, Mr. Chairman, doon sa aking mga katanungan. Again, to Mr. Gabby Lopez, kay Attorney Bautista, magandang hapon po sa inyo. Ang una ko pong tanong kay Mr. Gabby Lopez, kanina po binanggit, no, since birth, wala po kayong Philippine passport until ito pong 2001, nung kayo po yung nag-apply ng recognition as a Filipino citizen.
Mr. Lopez?
Opo, Your Honor.
Yes, and to date, Mr. Lopez, meron po ba kayong Philippine passport na o US passport pa rin po?
Your Honor, I have two passports. I used both passports.
Okay. Ngayon, ito po'y gusto ko lang iklaro, and Attorney Bautista can reply to this. In 1996, February 1996, you were issued an American passport. Is that correct, Mr. Lopez?
I don't recall, Your Honor, when my American passport, the last renewal of my American passport in 1996. I would have to look at my passport.
Yes, but it would be doesn't have to be exact, but it was sometime in the mid-90s, Mr. Lopez, that you were given a passport. I mean, a renewal of the US passport.
Opo, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just read, and Mr. Lopez and Attorney Bautista can reply to this. In one of the conditions in the application of a US passport, in the acts or conditions, and if I may read, Mr. Chair, for the record, if any of the below-mentioned acts or conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, the portion which applies should be lined out, and a supplementary explanatory statement under oath or affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. Ito na po yung quote. Application for a US passport. I have not, since acquiring United States citizenship, nationality, been naturalized as a citizen of a foreign state, taken an oath or made an affirmation or other formal declaration of allegiance to a foreign state, entered or served in the armed forces of a foreign state, accepted or performed the duties of any office, post, or employment under the government of a foreign state or political subdivision thereof, made a formal renunciation of nationality either in the United States or before a diplomatic or consular officer of the United States in a foreign state, or been convicted by a court or court-martialed of competent jurisdiction of committing any act of treason against or attempting by force to overthrow or bearing arm against the United States or conspiring to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States. Ang act and condition po na to sa pag-apply ng US passport only means that you are giving allegiance to the United States and no other foreign state. Very clear. Again, Attorney Bautista can answer. If you signed this application and you're given a passport, therefore, you are repudiating any other citizenship, and you're saying that you're giving your sole allegiance to the United States of America. Mr. Chairman.
Attorney Ayo, respond, Your Honor.
Attorney Bautista, you're recognized.
Salamat po, no? Maliwanag po sa Commonwealth Act number 63. Nakalista po doon yung modes by which Philippine citizenship may be lost. Number 1 po, naturalization in a foreign country. Maliwanag po na Mr. Lopez was never nationalized.
Mr. Bautista, if I may again call your attention, when he applied for a renewal in 1996, he signed as part of the application the part on acts or conditions. And if I may read the particular phrase, that you have not made an affirmation or other formal declaration of allegiance to a foreign state, which will be construed, Attorney Bautista, that you have sole allegiance to the United States of America. Kaya po tinanong ko yung application ng Philippine passport. Kasi, wala hong ganun eh. Pero sa US passport, nung nag-apply noong 1996, and even before that, very clear that part of that condition is you will have sole allegiance to the United States of America.
Ang sagot ko po doon, hindi po tayo dalubhasa sa American law dahil we are Philippine lawyers. Ang sinasabi ko lang po, that under our law, he never lost his citizenship when he applied for or obtained foreign passport.
Mr. Chairman, the best evidence is the document itself. The signed document is the best evidence. I don't think we should be arguing on that matter now. I think that if there is an application for a passport renewal, we should get a copy of the same so that we know what, or at least a copy of the form signed, so that we don't have to argue on the merits of the said document, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Kong Boying.
For that, Congressman Remulla, maybe all we have to do is download the application of the form of for the renewal of the U.S. passport, Mr. Chairman. So again, I just wanted to clarify that. Pwede po niyong i-download yan, makikita po yan ng lahat ng tao. Pag ikaw ay nag-apply ng renewal, kung ikaw ay U.S. citizen, parte ng kondisyon doon ay wala kang pagkampi o wala kang pagkilala sa ibang bansa o sa ibang gobyerno, kundi ang gobyerno at ang bansa ng Estados Unidos. I may now go back to my second point. Doon po sa ating Constitution, and it was read by Attorney Bautista earlier, the ownership and management of mass media shall be limited to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations, cooperatives, or associations wholly owned and managed by such citizens.
From 1986.
Congressman Remulla,
Congressman Remulla, pakipatay pa
your
yung
mic is on.
Pakipatay yung mic.
So I read now Section 11 of the General Provisions. Tinignan ko po yung definition ng word na wholly owned and managed by such citizens. And ang definition po niya is entirely, fully. Under the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, it is full or entire or completely. Kaya, again, on 2 points, I maintain my position that the question of citizenship is not just a question of whether you are a dual citizen, na yan po ang pinagdidebatehan ngayon, tanggap na Pilipino ka, pero ikaw din ay Amerikano, at yung pong question ng citizenship sa allegiance. Yung una pong tanong ko sa passport, yun po yung sa allegiance. Ito pong tanong ko pangalawa, dun sa general provisions, yung definition ng wholly owned and managed provision. Now, I go back to my question on ownership. Mr. Lopez, from 1986 to 2020, how many shares do you own? Magmula po nung panahon ng 1986 nung kayo po'y umuwi at pinatakbo na po ang ABS CBN, gaano ho kalaki ang parte ng inyong pagmamayari sa korporasyon?
Your Honor, I don't have that number with me right now. It is not a significant number. Most of the shares I got is from the employee stock ownership plan of ABS CBN. It is not a significant, statistically significant number. The ownership of the family is through Lopez Holdings and through Lopez Inc. That owns 56% of ABS CBN. Individually, all of us perhaps own shares of stock, but none of them are significant, statistically significant po.
Opo, so kung ito po'y aayusin, kunyari ho, yung meron sa Lopez Holdings, meron sa sarili ninyo, more or less so, ilang kayang percent ang lalabas po dito?
Yung sa akin...
Si Eric Quezon.
Perhaps Eric Quezon can answer this question. Eric?
Mr. Yason, you're recognized.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I don't have that information right now. But we could submit that.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Chair.
Pakisubmit na lang po next time pa.
So yes, part of the, anyway, the request is to get. And from 1986 to the current Mr. Chairman, I understand that Mr. Gabi Lopez is already Chairman Emeritus. But from 86 to year 2020, what positions have you undertaken as part of management of ABS CBN?
Paki-unmute lang yung device ni Mr. Lopez, please.
Paki-mute.
If I recall correctly, I started as a CFO, then I became general manager, then I became president, and then I became chief executive. I retired as chief executive when I turned 60, and I retired from being a chairman when I turned 65.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, again, we would like to thank Mr. Gabi Lopez for giving us the time and to answer the questions. Isang tanong lang po, Mr. Lopez, you may or may not answer this question. Pero, again, everyone have been telling you that, we know that it is not your fault. Hindi niyo po kasalanan na kayo po ay isang American citizen dahil doon kayo pinanganak. At hindi nyo rin kasalanan na kayo naging Pilipino dahil po ang mga magulang nyo ay Pilipino. Kung doon po sa pagdaan ng panahon, hindi nyo pa ho naisip na mag-renounce ng American citizenship para maging kabuuang Pilipino na po ang inyong maging citizenship, Mr. Lopez?
Yes, I have considered it. But, the way I see it, I am first and foremost Filipino. I will live, I will die in the Philippines. That is certainly been the family's position, and we are 7 generations of Lopez's in the Philippines. Frankly, the issue of being a dual citizen is not even something that I think about. I know in my heart I am a Filipino, and all my actions in the last 35 years I've been associated with ABS CBN has been with the service of the Filipino in my mind. So you are right. It is something that I should have considered, but it was never something that I felt was an issue in terms of any of my actions. If it came down to conflict of interest, I would give up my U.S. citizenship in a minute.
So thank you, Mr. Lopez. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Diyan na po magtatapos yung first round natin, but meron tayong dalawang manifestations. But before po natin ibigay, may request na po yung mga ibang members na kay Mr. Lopez kung pwede po natin masubmit yung copies po ng American and Filipino passport po. And also fra Bureau of Immigration, kung pwede po ma-request yung travel history, travel records po ni Mr. Lopez from 1986 up to present. Thank you. The Chair would like to recognize now for his manifestation, Minority Leader, Benny Abante.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me here?
Malinaw po.
Okay. Narinig ko po ang mga brilliant argument ng ating magagaling na mga abogado. Sa aking pagkarinig ay bilang hindi po abogado, ako'y natututo at nakikita ko ng malinaw ang ibig sabihin ng citizenship. Binabasa ko po yung article tungkol po sa citizenship sa ating Constitution. Nakalagay po dito, the following are citizens of the Philippines. Those who are citizens of the Philippine Islands at the time of the adoption of this Constitution, 1987. Number 2, those born in the Philippine Islands of foreign parents who before the adoption of the Constitution had been elected to public office in the Philippine Islands. Those whose fathers are citizens of the Philippines, those whose mothers are citizens of the Philippines, and upon reaching the age of majority, elect Philippine citizenship. Gusto ko lang pong sabihin na sa aking pananaw, bilang isang ordinaryong Pilipinong hindi abogado, ano po, kapag ang tatay o nanay mo ay Pilipino, ayon sa aking pagkaunawa sa ating Constitution, ikaw ay Pilipino. Simple lamang po ang panuntunan na yan. Sa ligang batas, natin yan. Kahit saan ka pinanganak, ikaw ay ituturing ng batas na Pilipino. Sa akin pong pagkikinig sa lahat ng mga tinuran ng ating mga abogado, si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay pinanganak sa Amerika. Tatay at nanay niya ay parehong Pilipino. Kaya siya ay Pilipino din. Kahit pa binigyan siya ng American citizenship dahil doon siya pinanganak. What our laws prohibit, ay hiniwala po ako, is dual allegiance, not dual citizenship. Tulad po ng mga kaso ni Edo Manzano at LPJ, hindi labag sa ating batas na magkaroon ng dual citizenship. Tulad ng aking apo na pinanganak sa Amerika, pero ang kanyang nanay ay Pilipina, kahit na ang kanyang tatay ay Amerikano, siya po ay tinuturing na Pilipino. Kaya, bago ko tapusin itong manifestation ko, ang aking question po lamang kay Mr. Lopez ay ito. Did you ever take an oath of allegiance in the U.S., Mr. Gabby Lopez?
Magandang hapon po, Minority Leader Abante. Hindi po, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, kung ang sagot niya dyan ay yes, he is no longer a Filipino. Kung ang sagot niya ay no, then you are a Filipino and I will stand by you as a fellow Filipino. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair, atin pong chairman ng both committees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minority Leader Abante. Last na po, para ngayong araw na to, ang manifestation ni Congresswoman Jam Baronda.
Po ang pagpapatuloy ng isinasagawang hearing ng House of Representatives sa issue ng renewal sa franchise ng ABS CBN. At kanina nga doon sa mga interpellation ng mga mambabatas at pagtatanong kay Chairman Emeritus Gabby Lopez ng ABS-CBN na pagtuunan nga po ng pansin ang issue sa kanyang pagiging dual citizen o yung pagkakaroon ng American citizenship at Filipino citizenship. Sinabi ng Department of Justice na kahit ano pa man, magkaroon man siya ng dayuhang pasaporte, ay hindi po nawawala ang pagka-Pilipino nitong si Ginoong Gabby Lopez. Pero may ilang punto na sinabi po ang ilang mga mambabatas kagaya ni na Congressman Mike Defensor na sa kanyang renewal ng kanyang pasaporte noong 1986 o 1996 o mid-1990s ay isa doon sa nire-require ng American government ay yung renunciation o yung hindi pagkilala sa iba pang mga dayuhang gobyerno maliban lamang sa gobyernong Amerikano. Pero first round pa lamang po yan ng isinagawang pagtatanong kay Ginoong Gabby Lopez ngayong araw na ito doon sa issue ng kanyang pagiging American citizen at magpapatuloy pa po ang interpellation ng mga mambabatas for the second round at mamaya po ay ipagpapatuloy ang pagdinig na yan. Samantala sa detalye ng mga balita ngayong araw na ito sa Agila Balita, malabong maging bagyo ang binabantayang low pressure area o LPA ng Pag-asa. Ayon sa Pag-asa, ito ay dahil ngayong araw ay nasahang malulusaw din ang naturang sama ng panahon. Muling namataan o huling namataan ang LPA sa 635 kilometers sa silangan ng Apari, Cagayan at 800 o 610 kilometers naman sa silangan, nilagang silangan ng Kasiguran, Aurora. Iniyag pa ng Pag-asa na hindi makakaapekto sa bansa ang naturang sama ng panahon. Gayunman asahan ng maulap na kalangitan na may pag-ulan, pagidlat at pagkulog sa bahagi ng Palawan, Western Visayas at Mindanao dahil sa Intertropical Convergence Zone o ITCZ. Habang maaliwalas sa panahon naman ang mararanasan ngayong araw sa Metro Manila at nalalabing bahagi ng bansa, subalit dahil sa localized thunderstorms ay asahan ang mga panandaliang pagulan lalo na sa dakong hapon o gabi. Wala namang nakataas sa gale warning sa mga baybaying dagat, kaya malayang makakapaglayag ang mga mangisda at maging ang mga maliliit na sasakyang pandagat. Muling bumaba ang antas ng tubig sa Angat Dam at iba pang dam sa Luzon. Sa tala ng Pag-asa Hydrology Division, kaninang alas 6 ng umaga, ang antas ng tubig sa Angat Dam ay nasa 189.78 meters. Mas mababa ito sa antas nito kahapon na 189.92 meters. Bukod dito, nabawasan din ang antas ng tubig sa Binga, San Roque, Pantabangan at Caliraya Dams, habang nadagdagan naman ang antas ng tubig ng Ambuklao at Magat Dams. Naragdagan naman ang antas ng tubig ng Ipo Dam na nasa 101.04 meters ngayong umaga, mas mataas sa antas ito kahapon na 101.03. Habang bahagyang nabawasan ang antas ng tubig sa Lamesa Dam na ngayon ay nasa 76.32 meters, mas mababa sa antas ng tubig nito kahapon na nasa 76.43 meters. Niyanig ng magnitude 4.2 na lindol ang Tawi-Tawi. Ayon sa PVOX, natukoy ang epicenter ng lindol 320 kilometers sa timog silangan ng South Ubian. Naramdaman ang pagyanig kaninang alas 12:37 ng madaling araw. Tectonic ang origin ng pagyanig na may lalim na 31 kilometers. Wala namang napaulat na pinsala at wala ring inaasahang aftershocks sa naturang pagyanig. Niyanig din ng magnitude 3.0 na lindol ang Zaron, Leyte. Ayon sa PVOX, natukoy ang epicenter ng pagyanig 11 kilometro sa hilagang kanluran ng Limasawa. Naramdaman ang pagyanig kaninang alas 8:54 ng umaga. Tectonic din ang pinagmulan ng pagyanig na may lalim na 4 na kilometro. Walang napaulat na pinsala at wala ring inaasahang aftershocks. Sa iba pang mga balita, pinigil ng Malacanang ang pagpapawalang bisa sa Visiting Forces Agreement o VFA sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at Amerika. Sinabi ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin na ipinagutos si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang suspension ng mga termination dahil political at regional development sa Asian regions. Ayon kay Locsin, self-explanatory ang kanyang kalatas na ipinadala sa US government na malugod namang tinanggap ng Amerika. Magugunitang dahil sa pagkansela ng US visa ni Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa noong Enero ng taong kasalukuyan ay nagalit ang Pangulo at ipinawalang bisa ang VFA. Batay sa proseso ng pagpapawalang bisa ng treaty, kailangan lamang na magpadala ng formal notice ang isang partido at sa loob ng isang taon ay otomatikong terminated na ang kasunduan. Hindi maapektuhan ang petisyon ng Senado sa Korte Suprema kahit pa ipinatigil na ng gobyerno ang proseso ng pagpapawalang bisa sa Visiting Forces Agreement sa Estados Unidos. Nauna nang nagsampa ng petition for declaratory relief and mandamus ang Senado para igiit ang kapangyarihan nito sa pag-terminate ng isang tratado. Ayon kay Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon, tuloy ang kanilang petisyon kahit pa nagbago ng patakaran ang gobyernong Pilipinas. Iginit ng senador na kung ang isang treaty ay dumadaan sa ratifikasyon o concurrence ng Senado, dapat ring may approval ng mataas na kapulungan ng Kongreso kapag kailangan na itong i-terminate. Magandang hakbang anyan naman ng gobyerno dahil nakakabuti ito sa interes ng bansa, partikular sa pagpapanatili ng karapatan ng Pilipinas sa West Philippine Sea. Malacanang ipinaubaya sa Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA ang pagpapaliwanag sa suspensyon ng Visiting Forces Agreement termination. Si Eagle News reporter Vic Somentak.
Tikom ang bibig ni Presidential Spokesman Secretary Harry Roque kaugnay ng Notice of Suspension ng termination ng RPUS Visiting Forces Agreement o BFA na iniutos ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kay Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin. Sinabi ni Roque na kung ano ang laman ng Notice of Suspension ng termination ng BFA na ipinadala ni Secretary Locsin sa US government ay yun ang opisyal na posisyon ng pamahalaang Pilipinas. Ayon kay Roque, tanging si Pangulong Duterte ang nakakaalam ng rason kung bakit sinuspende ang termination ng BFA bilang Chief Foreign Policy Maker ng pamahalaan. Batay sa Notice of Suspension of the Termination of BFA, ang nangyayaring political development sa ASEAN region ang inilagay na dahilan ni Secretary Locsin. Magugunitang February 11, 2020 nang ipadala ng DFA ang Notice of Termination ng RPUS Visiting Forces Agreement alinsunod na rin sa kautosan ni Pangulong Duterte. Salig sa probisyon ng treaty termination, kailangang magpadala ng formal notice ang isang partido sa kakontratang partido para sa pagpapawalang bisa ng kasunduan at makalipas ang isang taon ay otomatikong tapos na ang tratado. Para sa Eagle News, Vic Somentak, we live in interesting times.
Samantala, US government umaasa sa patuloy na security at defense cooperation sa Pilipinas matapos suspindihin ng pamahalaang Duterte ang VFA termination. Eagle News reporter Moira Encina. Moira.
Ikinatuwa ng US government ang pagsuspende ng pamahalaang Duterte sa VFA termination. Sa statement ng US Embassy, sinabi na welcome sa kanila ang hakbang ng Pilipinas ay pagpaliban ang pagpawalang bisa sa Visiting Force Agreement o VFA. Ayon sa US Embassy, inabisuhan sila ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas noong June 1 sa desisyon nito na suspendihin muna ang VFA termination. Sinabi ng Embahada ng Amerika na pinakanabangan ng dalawang bansa ang matagal nitong alyansa. Umaasa naman ang US government na magpapatuloy ang close security at defense cooperation nito sa Pilipinas. Para sa Eagle News, Jorge Encina, We live in interesting times.
Samantala, strong military partnership ng Pilipinas sa Amerika magpapatuloy ayon sa DFA. Ang detalye, ihahatid ni Mean Corvera.
Matapos ideklara ang suspensyon ng pag-terminate sa Visiting Forces Agreement, inianunsyo ngayon ng Department of Foreign Affairs na itutuloy ng Pilipinas ang pagpapalakas sa military partnership sa Amerika. Sa isang pahayag, sinabi ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. na papayagan na ulit na magsagawa ng mga joint exercises sa pagitan ng mga sundalong Pinoy at Amerika na isa sa mga pakay ng VFA. Sinabi ng kalihim na ipagpapatuloy rin ng Pilipinas ang ugnayan sa mga regional allies ito para sa peace, stability at pagpapatuloy ng pag-unlad ng ekonomiya. Una na ang sinabi ng kalihim na ipinasuspinde ang termination ng VFA batay sa instruction ng Pangulo. Batay-ari niya ito sa political at iba pang development sa rehiyon. Magugunitang iniutos ng Pangulo ang pagsuspinde sa VFA matapos kansilahin ng Estados Unidos ang visa ni dating PNP Chief at ngayon Senador Ronald Bato de la Rosa. Narito ang bahagi ng pahayag ni Secretary Locsin.
We are pleased to announce in light of recent developments, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte instructed me to inform via diplomatic note the Ambassador of the United States that he has decided to suspend the pending termination of the Visiting Forces Agreement, which has several months more to run as stipulated therein. We look forward to continuing our strong military partnership with the United States, even as we continue to reach out to our regional allies in building common defense towards enduring stability and peace and continuing economic progress and prosperity in our part of the world. I will answer only one question, which I will ask myself. Why? Why did he change his mind? A man who does not change his mind cannot change anything. He ran on the slogan, "Change is coming." But in the vast and swiftly changing circumstances of the world, in a time of pandemic and heightened superpower tensions, the world leader must be quick in mind and fast on his feet for the safety of our nation and the peace of the world.
Para sa Eagle News, Mean Corvera, we live in interesting times.
At tabayanan ng iba pang mga detalye sa pagbabalik ng Agila Balita.
Agila Balita.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure Building a Better World. Sandig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChops, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChops. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Standard Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, CompuZell Computer Services, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
To date, SMC Infrastructure remains at the forefront of Boracay Airport's modernization. The current and long-term developments include the construction of an international airport passenger terminal and the extension of the existing runway to better serve bigger aircrafts, providing tourists with world-class access to this slice of paradise.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Balik tayo sa mga balita. Nagpaalala ang Department of Health o DOH sa publiko tungkol sa kahalagahan ng pagpapabakuna sa mga bata laban sa mga sakit tulad ng polio at tigdas kahit ngayong panahon ng COVID-19 pandemic. Ayon kay Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere, dapat huwag kalimutan ng lahat na mayroong pa ring mga COVID cases o non-COVID cases, kaya dapat na mag-ingat. Nag-iikot anya ang mga health workers sa mga barangay para sa bakuna laban sa polio at tigdas at maaari ring magpunta sa mga health centers sa bansa.
At ito po yung panahon ngayon na medyo kailangan ho nating pag-ingatan dahil maaari pong tumaas ang mga kaso ng polio, ng measles at iba pa hong sakit sa ating mga kabataan. Kaya napaka-importante po na pabakunahan pa rin po ang ating mga kabataan kahit po nandito tayo sa gitna ng pandemyang ito. Next. So, yan po yung sinasabi natin, no? So, mag-iikot po ang ating mga healthcare workers para sa bakuna o di kaya maaari ho kayong pumunta sa ating mga health facilities at meron na ho tayong ginawang mga schedules dyan para po hindi nagsisiksika ng mga tao at para po hindi naman nagkakaroon ng increased rate of transmission kapag nagkaroon ng maramihang tao sa health center natin.
Samantala, nagpositibo sa poliovirus ang daluyan ng tubig na pumapagitna sa Barangay Bukal at Barangay Halang sa Calamba City, Laguna. Ayon sa Facebook post ng Sangguniang Barangay ng Bukal, ito ay batay sa resulta ng pagsusuri ng RITM sa sample ng tubig sa ilang o sa kanilang lugar at pinaggigitnaan ng Barangay Bukal at Barangay Halang o mula sa Pamana Homes papuntang Laguna de Bay. Dahil dito, nananawagan ang mga otoridad na huwag munang lumusong sa nasabing lugar. Hinimok din ng mga pamilya na nakatira malapit sa lugar na huwag uminom ng tubig na galing sa nawasa na hindi napapakuluan. Pero nilinaw ng sangguniang barangay ng Bukal na ang kontaminado ng poliovirus ay ang ilat at hindi ang tubig galing sa Calamba Water District. Pinapapaalahanan lamang daw nila ang mga residente na kumukuha ng inuming tubig mula sa Calamba Water District at sa tubig poso na pakuluan ang tubig bago inumin, lalo na ang mga kabahayan na malapit sa ilat. Samantala, sa hiwalay na abiso, tiniyak naman ang Calamba Water District na nananatiling ligtas at malinis ang supply ng tubig nila. Nilinaw ng CWD na hindi konektado ang water source nila sa ilat o ligasong. Aminado ang CWD na ikinagulat nilang advisory ng Barangay Bukal dahil wala silang natatanggap na official report ukol sa natuklasang poliovirus sa tubig ilat. Nakikipag-ugnayan na ang CWD sa City Health Office at sa Community Environment and Natural Resources Office ng Calamba ukol sa nasabing report. Una nang iniulat ng DOH ang pagbabalik ng polio sa bansa noong nakaraang Setyembre matapos ang 19 na taon na idineklarang polio-free ang Pilipinas. Mahigit na sa 4,000 ang bilang ng mga gumaling na pasyente sa COVID-19 sa bansa. Batay sa datos ng Department of Health o DOH, kabuang 4,063 na ang total recoveries. Samantala, nakapagtala na ang bansa ng 18,997 na mga tinamaan ng COVID-19. 359 ang napaulat na bagong kaso ng sakit at sa nasabing bilang 176 ang fresh cases habang 183 ang late case. Iniyagpaan ng DOH na 6 pa ang nasawi sa COVID-19 kaya ang COVID-19 related deaths sa bansa ay nasa 966 na ang bilang. Bilang ng mga gumaling sa COVID-19 sa Quezon City, patuloy ding nadaragdagan. Si Bel Soraras sa detalye. Bel?
Nadadagdagan ng 61 kaso ng COVID-19 sa Quezon City. Mula sa dating 2,175, ngayon ay nasa 2,236 na ang confirmed cases batay sa bagong datos na nilabas ng Department of Health. 1,949 naman ang validated cases ng Quezon City Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit o CESU at District Health Offices. 51 naman ang naidagdag sa mga gumaling na ng lubusan. Mula sa dating 900 habang may kabuang 860 na ang recovering o nagpapagaling mula naman sa dating 807. Isa lang ang naiulat na nasawi, kaya ang kabuang bilang ay 182 mula sa dating 181. Ayon sa CESU, ang nabanggit na datos ay maaari pang mabago dahil sa patuloy na pagsasagawa ng swab testing na pinangangasiwaan ng Community-Based Testing Center. Samantala, sa 6 na district ng Quezon City, may pinakamataas na kaso ng COVID-19 ay District 4 na may kabuang bilang na 518 mula sa dating 492. Sa District 6 naman, may 6 na nadagdag na bagong kaso mula sa dating 357. Ngayon ay 363 na. 11 bagong kaso naman ang naidagdag sa District 1 mula sa dating 346. Ngayon ay 357 na. Ang Barangay Batasan Hills pa rin ang may pinakamataas na kaso sa mga barangay. 3 ang naidagdag mula sa 94 cases, ngayon ay 97 na. Sinundan ng Barangay Kulyat, 2 bagong kasong nadagdag mula sa 81, 83 na ngayon at sa Barangay Bahay Toro naman, 2 ang naidagdag sa dating 72 kaso ng COVID, ngayon ay 72 na. Samantala, 3 ang quarantine facility sa lungsod na dito nakakonfine ng mga COVID patients. Ito ang Hope 1, Hope 2 at Hope 3 facility. Ang Hope 1 ay para sa mga confirmed, suspected at probable COVID patients. Ang Hope 2 naman ay para sa self-isolation habang hinihintay ang paglabas ng resulta kung positibo o negatibo sa virus. At ang Hope 3 naman ay para sa confirmed at suspected COVID nursing mothers at kanilang babies. Para sa Eagle News, Bel Sorara will lead an interesting times.
Accelerated Recovery and Investment Stimulus for the Economy of the Philippines o Arise Philippines Act sisikapin na maaprobahan ng Kamara bago ang session break ng Kongreso. COVID-19 Related Discrimination Act lusot na sa ikatlong pagbasa. Si Eden Santos sa detalye. Eden?
Yes, Wen, kumpiyansa ang liderato ng Kamara na may habol nilang pagpasa sa isa pang anti-COVID-19 measures bago mag-adjourn CNJ ang Kongreso. Ito ay matapos aprubahan sa second reading ang Accelerated Recovery and Investment Stimulus for the Economy of the Philippines o mas kilala bilang Arise Philippines Act at target naman na maipasa sa third reading bago ang June 5, 2020. Ayon kay House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, minamadali nilang pagpasa sa Economic Stimulus Bill para matulungan ang mga kababayan natin na makarecover mula sa financial at socio-economic impact ng COVID-19 pandemic. Anya, sa pamamagitan ng Arise Bill ay matutugunan ng gobyerno ang pangangailangan ng mga manggagawa sa non-essential businesses, freelancers, repatriated OFWs at self-employed workers na hindi nakasama sa social amelioration programs ng Department of Social Welfare and Development at maging sa Small Business Wage Subsidy Program. Batay sa bill, bibigyan ng mga ito ng maximum subsidy na 15,000 pesos kada buwan sa loob ng 2 buwan. Popunduhan ng nasabing bill ng 1.3 trillion pesos para sa buong stimulus package na kinabibilangan ng Build program na lalong magpapahusay sa healthcare, educational facilities, social housing projects, digital infrastructure, creative industries at climate smart and resilient infrastructure, gayon din sa iba pang katulad na proyekto. Samantala, lusot na kahapon sa ikatlong pagbasa ang House Bill 6817 o ang COVID-19-related Anti-Discrimination Act matapos bumoto ng pabor ang 204 na kongresista. Layo ng bill na mabigyan ng proteksyon ang mga frontliners at overseas Filipino workers mula sa iba't ibang uri ng diskriminasyon. Para sa Eagle News, Eden Santos, we live in interesting times.
PNP Highway Patrol Group muling magsasagawa ng offline habol sa mga pangunahing kalsada sa Metro Manila sa gitna ng General Community Quarantine. Civil News reporter Mar Gabriel. Mar?
Muling magsasagawa ng mobile checkpoint at offline habol sa kahabaan ng EDSA at iba pang pangunahing kalsada sa Metro Manila ang PNP Highway Patrol Group para manghuli ng mga hindi otorisadong motorista. Mismong si HPG Director Police Brigadier General Eliseo Cruz ang mangunguna sa operasyon, alinsunod na rin sa utos ni JTF COVID Shield Commander Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Eliazar. Una nang sinabi ni Eliazar ng General Community Quarantine o GCQ ay hindi dahilan para maglakwat siya at yun lang ay may mga essential travel at otorisadong individual ang pinahihintulutan sa daan. At dahil tiyak na magdudulot ng matinding traffic kung isa-isang iti-check ng mga otoridad ang mga sasakyan, nagdesisyon ng JTF COVID Shield na gawing random ang pagsita. Kung magtatangkang tumakas ang masisitang motorista, dito na papasok ang offline habol ng motorcycle unit ng PNP-HPG. Ang mga mahuhuli ay i-issuehan ng violation ticket at nakatakdang sampahan ng kasong paglabag sa quarantine guidelines. Para sa Eagle News, Mar Gabriel, we live in interesting times.
DepEd at CHED, pinayuhan naman ang mga eskwelahan na konsultahin muna ang mga magulang bago magtaas ng tuition fee. Eagle News reporter Madeline Villar, Moratillo. Mads?
Aminado ang Department of Education sa panahong ito ng COVID-19 pandemic ay kailangan na maging balanse ang pagtingin sa interes kapwa ng school institution at mga magulang. Sa kapiyan sa Manila Bay News Forum, ipinaliwanag ni DepEd Undersecretary Jesus Mateo na lahat ay apektado ng krisis na dulot ng COVID-19. Kaya naman ang payo ni Mateo, partikular sa mga pribadong paaralan na bago magtaas ng tuition fee o miscellaneous fee ay kumonsulta muna sa mga magulang. Kung sakali man anyang magtaas, dapat ito ay masigurong mapupunta para sa dagdag sweldo sa mga guro. Sa panig naman ng Commission on Higher Education, ipinaliwanag ni Executive Director Attorney Cinderella Filipina Benitez Haro na ang aplikasyon para sa pagtataas ng matrikula ay isinusumite sa kanila sa unang bahagi pa lang ng taon. Karamihan sa mga aplikasyong ito ay naisumitean niya sa kanila bago pa ang COVID-19 pandemic. Kaya naman naglabasaan niya ng direktiba ang CHED na dapat ay konsultahin muna ng mga pamunuan ng mga kolehiyo at universidad ang mga magulang at maging mga estudyante hinggil rito. Ang mga discussion na ito patungkol sa pandemic ay dapat anyang maisama sa isusumite sa kanila upang ma-justify ang hiling na adjustment ng mga ito. Para sa Eagle News, Madeline Villar, Moratillo, we live in interesting times.
ng isang tren ng Philippine National Railways o PNR ang isang kotse sa Blumentritt sa Maynila kaninang mag-aalas 5 ng umaga. Ayon kay Jocelyn Jeronimo, ang tagapagsalita ng PNR, wala namang nasugatan sa insidente. Ang sangkot ay isang tren ng PNR na galing sa Governor Pascual Station sa Malabon na mayroong 30 pasahero at isang kotse na lulan ang driver at isang pasahero. Sinabi ni Jeronimo na sa inisyal na investigasyon ay pinilit umano ng kotse na tumawid gayong may paparating ng tren ng PNR. Dahil dito, nasa pole ng tren ang passenger side ng kotse. Pasado alas 6:30 ng umaga nang maalis ang kotse sa riles. Ang tren naman ay kinailangang kumpunihin ng mekaniko dahil bahagyang nadali o nasira ang ilalim na bahagi nito. Ang mga pasahero naman ng naaksidenteng tren ay inilipat sa ibang tren. Sa ngayon, balik na sa normal na operasyon ang mga tren ng PNR. Pero apela ni Jeronimo sa publiko, lalo na sa mga motorista, kapag may paparating na tren ay wag nang mangahas na tumawid pa upang makaiwas sa disgrasya. Mayor ng Lumba, Kaunayan, Lanao del Sur, tinambangan sa Ironan, Cagayan de Oro City. Sigal News correspondent Richard de la Cruz. Richard.
Yes, Madam Tanghali. Nagpatuloy ang investigasyon ngayon ng kapulisan sa pamumuno ni Lieutenant Major Baculio Hipi sa Bulwa Police Station matapos tambangan ang pick-up na sinasakyan ni Mayor Sumirado Guru ng Lumba, Kaunayan, Lanao del Sur. Habang binabaybay nito ang daan sa bahagi ng Barangay Ipunan, Cagayan de Oro City, nang bigla na lang tambangan ng dalawang armadong lalaki na armado ng kaliber 45. Ayon kay Ibrahim Gani, municipal driver, makalipas ang ilang minuto nang mapahinto ang kanilang sinasakyan dahil sa sunod-sunod na putok. Sa pag-aakala ng mga armadong suspek na patay na ang nasa loob ng sasakyan, nang makayanan pa nitong i-drive ay agad na itinakbo ang sasakyan papunta sa isang pribadong ospital. Sa ngayon ay nasa patuloy pa ang paggagamot ng mga doktor sa alkalde at umaasa naman ang mga pamilya nito na agad mahuli ang mga suspek na mabilis nakatakas sa hindi malamang direksyon. Sa personal nating panayam sa isang ali na nakasaksi sa nangyaring shooting incident, siniguro ng mga suspek na akala nila ay patay na ang nasa loob ng sasakyan at pinalibutan pa ito sabay ng sunod-sunod na putok. Sa pag-aakalang patay na ito ay mabilis namang tumakas ang dalawang armadong suspek gamit ang single motorsiklo. Agad naman nagsagawa ng pag-checkpoint, papasok at palabas ng Cagayan de Oro City ang hanay ng kapulisan sa pamumuno ni Colonel Henry Dampal sapagkat inaasahan na hindi pa nakalabas sa syudad ang dalawang armadong suspek. Para sa Eagle News, Richard de la Cruz, we live in interesting times.
Mga pangyayari sa labas ng bansa. Balitang Abroad.
Sa ibayong dagat na sa 100,000 katao kabilang ang ilang coronavirus patients sa India ang inilipat sa mas ligtas na lugar bilang paghahanda sa paparating na bagyo. Ayon sa mga opisyal, halos 150 COVID-19 patients na nakakonfine sa katatapos na palamang na itayong field hospital ang inilipat sa isang pasilidad na may konkretong bubong. Sinabi ni Udhav Takerav, Chief Minister ng Maharashtra State, na ang mga residenteng nakatira sa slum areas ay inilikas sa mas ligtas na lugar bago manalasa ang bagyong Nisarga na inaasahang magla-landfall mamayang hapon o gabi oras sa India. Sa babala ng Indian meteorologist, ang bagyong Nisarga ay magdadala ng malalakas sa mga pag-ulan, may lakas na hangin na 100 to 110 kilometers bawat oras na may pagbugsong hanggang 120 kilometers bawat oras. At yan po ang kabuuan ng ating mga balita. Sa pangalan ng ating mga kagapay sa Eagle News Service, ako po si Weng de la Fuente. We live in interesting times. Susunod na ang letters and music dito sa Net 25 at now and then kasama si Julie Fernando sa Radyo Aguila. Magandang hapon po.
Sumainyo ang mga balitang kinarap, maingat na isinulat at inihanay ng Eagle News Service. Agila Balita!